We probably are live.
Want me to check on YouTube?
Yeah. Everyone check. Make sure it's working.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely seeing a video saying
it's
why
live.
is Sakura better than Naruto? That sounds like a bit of a clickbait.
Oh my gosh, Kamui. I'm gonna have to change the title afterwards to an actually unbiased title. But assuming we're live,
We are.
welcome to the Walky Talky podcast, or welcome back. I don't know, it depends if you've been here or not, I guess. But so tonight we're doing a special like Naruto one community discussion. This was sparked by our fellow Discord members. In particular, the catalyst was what's his name? Scroll up. Hasn't talked to it a little bit today, but it's okay. Let's see. It's not Draco. It was not Draco. Draco was involved, but obviously Ultra and BlueStar were as well. Not Ash. My goodness, I'm scrolling up freaking far, I guess. Space was there as well. So again, shout out the Discord, link in the description below if you want to be a part of the community discussions like that. It was Strafer J. Sparked such a hot debate in the community, quote unquote, and he's the prophet of debate. There you go. Again, link in the description below if you want to join for more discussions like this, or if you have your own take on this. But in general, push or shove, some way or another, we got here to where is Sakura the heart of Team 7, or is there a heart of Team 7, or who is the heart of Team 7, etc., etc. BlueStar, if you'd like to take it away by what you mean by the heart of Team 7 first and foremost, and then Ultra, you can lead the discussion from there. But yeah, that's how I was thinking of getting into it.
Well, I guess, let's see. I'm trying to remember what I had said at the beginning because I ended up, let's see, because I was one of the people he initially asked the question, and I believe I said that, let's see, Sakura is arguably, let's see, the heart because of, like, she tries to think, at least particularly in part 1, where she tries to be a sort of, peacekeeper amongst, let's see, her, teammates, let's see, Sasuke and Naruto, and let's see, trying to prevent them from like going too far with their fighting and stuff. You can kind of see that in like let's see, during the Land of Waves arc, particular, and I guess to an extent you could also see that in the beginning of the Sasuke retrieval arc when Sasuke challenges Naruto to a fight, and also the fact that she is also like sort of the emotional core, where she's the one that I guess expresses the most emotions and also the most emotional support to the others, but particularly when you'd like I guess you could see with Sasuke during the Chunin exams, particularly the Forest of Death, and let's see, particularly with Naruto when she starts learning all about the sort of his life as a Jinchuriki and all that, and what he goes through. Granted, I also said that she is a bit of a flawed one, I guess, because just because she could never just early emotionally connect to Sasuke due to the fact that Sasuke is sort of hell-bent set on his sort of revenge path, if you will, like kill Itachi, and she just cannot, let's see, get him to stay, if you will, and as a result, Sasuke left, and as far as Sasuke is concerned, Sakura doesn't quite understand, let's see, what he's going through. Arguably, let's see, as far as Sasuke is concerned, the only one that really gets him in the leaf to an extent is Naruto. But so I kind of said that Sakura is kind of a flawed, though. Arguably, you could say in the end, Naruto is sort of the heart, if you will, as he manages to keep Team 7 eventually together after its probably darkest moments in the Kage Summer arc. But yeah. That's arguably what I can recall.
Okay, yeah. So again, so what this is, just for the sake of stream, is this is basically the recap / elaboration, expansion, whatever, of a conversation that we've had in the Discord over the past day, 2 days, 3 days even, maybe at this point. And so again, the discussion is there a heart of Team 7? Who's the heart of Team 7? That's how we got, or that's the topic that we got onto from other topics. Again, you can join the Discord to go see the conversation all yourself if you'd like to. But in general, just that question alone. So BlueStar believes that it's Sakura, and he just gave his reason. Ultra does not believe it's Sakura. He'll give what he believes Sakura is, or who he believes, or whatever afterwards. Kamui and I haven't given our stances yet, and we'll probably give ours last, but that's the part that I'm most excited for, because I haven't read all of the conversations or all the argument yet. And so I'm excited to give like my unbiased view take without the arguments presented yet, just as I see it first. Me and Kamui have talked about in DMs a little bit, but it's sort of how we got here in the first place. I'm excited for that. But Ultra, if you want to take it away for why you believe she isn't, or whatever you have to say on this.
Okay. So first of all, like when we're going to analyze this to see if someone is the heart, we have to understand what is the heart. So basically, the trope is refers to like a character being like they're in an ensemble. So usually it's a person that's in a group, and so they're usually the emotional center. They're providing emotional support. They like give cohesion to the team, give empathy to keep the team united. They're often like seen as the glue that holds everyone together. They ensure that the team doesn't fall apart through like conflict, challenges, and like everything like around that in terms of like the dynamics within the group. So like there's like four main things I think for like someone to be the heart is like providing emotional support. It's group cohesion. They have to be they have to what else? Be like optimistic and show compassion. The compassion and optimistic part could be a little bit gray because I know in like different shows they have different interpretations. I don't know them off the top of my head. I just finished watching a video about it, but that is like more of like a gray scale, so you could go in different areas with that. Then it goes to like the mediator conflict that could also go like in a gray scale because like sometimes they don't necessarily have to, because sometimes you could have a heart that's really like averse to conflict, so they don't want to get into like when like generally like the leader or like the lancer are fighting. So like the leader and lancer, those are like also different terms like in the group dynamics thing for like the 5 man team. So that's like one aspect of it. So when I'm like analyzing heart, you have to understand like next part is like what questions do you think you should ask yourself if you're going to determine that someone is the heart. So like one of them that I came up with when we were talking about earlier was, do they hold the team together emotionally? So that's one question. Second question, do they provide emotional support by trying to understand everyone in the group? Third question, would the group lack cohesion without them? And then I added a fourth one because after thinking about it, are their motives selfless or selfish? So that's more so like my idea of the heart. And when you like think about all the certain criteria that you set in place for that, Sakura doesn't really fit that. And I don't think Team 7 has a heart. The team doesn't really function that way. I think at different moments in time throughout Naruto, different characters are the heart, but it's not like they follow the trope like clearly. It's much more like a thing that's like more malleable, where they could switch in between that different thing depending on the situation. So I don't think Sakura is the heart. I don't even think Team 7 has a heart, but there's moments where different characters can be a heart. So that's basically my argument.
That's more or less mine as well,
Thoughts?
personally.
What?
BlueStar, thoughts?
Well, okay. I'm just trying to remember every one of the points he said. I for the most part, I think.
Well,
I can.
I think the best way to approach that is looking at his definition of like what the trope is, a character, or whatever, his definition of what a heart is. Would you agree with that, or do you have a differing opinion on how we should like define what a heart is before we even go into like Naruto in general?
Well, I think I've said that, let's see, from what I can recall, the heart is normally the one that tries to be the peacekeeper, the one that tries to be the emotional support of the team, and let's see, the one that I guess is the one that is also does the, let's see, sort of caring side for the group, if you will, which, frankly, I do think Sakura is, at least in part one, had those aspects, and so, yeah, I think... Let's see. She's. Let's see. Hold on. Can you put in bullet points in the chat so I can let's see what you were saying, Ultra, so I can
Want me to repeat it?
Let me just find Okay, yeah. Repeat it quickly.
The first question is, do they hold the team together emotionally? Second one was, do they provide emotional support by trying to understand everyone in the group? Third question was, would the group lack cohesion without them? And then the fourth one, which was like another one that I added after the fact, was, about their motives. Like, are they selfless or selfish?
Do you have that written down somewhere so Kamui could show it on screen?
I was when we were discussing everything, and I sent it to Blue. I don't know if it was BlueStar, but I sent a message and I wrote that down.
If you have it somewhere, could you like copy paste it in the general chat just so that we can see it?
Yeah, I'll try to.
Just for like the visuals. Okay, appreciate that. Okay, so first of all, so those are the 4 bullet points. First of all, so of those 4 bullet points, BlueStar and I guess Kamui is just everyone. Would we agree with those 4, regardless of like adding or changing or removing? The 4 that Ultra presented, do we all like agree those would be relevant for the conversation of what a heart is in media in general?
Yes, if you're talking about the trope. If you're referring to just like something else and you're just calling it by the same name to mean something different, well, then we just have to clarify that. Because like, if I was just gonna say like, I'm just gonna make up something like, oh, Commander Erevin is the heart of the, well, you could argue he does or doesn't fit that trope, but maybe I was just referring to something else. Maybe I was referring to how he like gets everyone's spirits up before a mission.
Well.
So you would just have to like clarify that aspect. But in terms of the trope, yes, I agree with Ultra set.
Yeah, so okay, so with that just originally being said, I believe BlueStar you were just referring to in general and not the trope, and then Ultra, I'm assuming you were just only taking it as the trope, is my assumption going into this?
Yeah, probably.
Let's see.
BlueStar? Yeah.
Okay. Arguably, let's see. From what I can tell, sorry, could you say that again?
I'm assuming that you were just referring to like the Heart of Team 7, just like in general, just like saying it, and not like referring to like TV tropes and media in particular, is my assumption, because I don't think anyone really would.
Yeah, I was just mostly in general. I did look at TV tropes a little bit, and I think I did see Peacekeeper in there. At least I saw Peacekeeper in a bit of a Google search just to double check somewhere. As for the holds the team together emotionally, arguably in some cases I would say yes, she has done that, or at least tried. At least she stopped Sasuke particularly from doing his sort of like rampage against like those sound getting, and has also tried to give Naruto support when she thinks that he's feeling a bit down. Let's see, one example was when she thought Naruto was sort of like getting nervous in the Chunin exams before he did that outburst with saying that he's going to beat everyone at the Chunin exams. So there's that, and also the aftermath of like the invasion of pain when Naruto was like worried about Tsunade. Let's see. She does try to understand everyone in the group. Let's see, particularly after sort of that SmackDown talk after Chapter 3, when she's tries to be nice to Naruto and tries to learn everything she can about his situation with like being a Jinjuki and targeted by the Akatsuki. That is one example I can think of, and let's see, tries to care for Sasuke's well-being when he's inflicted by the curse mark targeted by Orochimaru. And let's see, what's the fourth one? Let's see, you added a fourth one, right? Let's see, the only one I would probably, would there be without them, would there be no cohesion? Let's see, I'd say that's the only one I'd probably say, she doesn't necessarily, do, unless you could say that she stopped, you could argue she does kind of stop Naruto and Sasuke from perhaps, fighting each other a bit too much, but, of course, she fails to do that in the Sasuke retrieval arc. Arguably, I think she fits at least the first two of what, Ultra said, and, what was the fourth one again?
Their motive. Is it selfish or selfless?
Let's see. I would say for most part her motives are like selfless, mostly because she just wants her team to be together. Let's see. There is like that one moment I'd say where she was that was when she was trying to lead Sasuke to stay with the whole confession thing, but let's see. But she of course got rejected, so arguably it's why I'd say for the most part she fits the criteria. She might not fit every aspect of it, and that's why I'd say she's arguably a bit of a flawed heart, if you will, but nevertheless does hold certain aspects of the heart.
Like when you say flawed heart, I don't like the way you're using the term because you're using the term like haphazardly. Because like if I was going to use this term, say flawed heart, I would apply it like in a different way. Like there's certain characters. I think I was watching a video. They used it with Steven's universe, but I never watched the show. But this is what the person was saying was like Steven, he's like a flawed heart, and the reason he is a flawed heart is because he tries to be the glue, he tries to be the emotional support, but mostly his emotional support comes from him trying to run away from his own problems. So he's not emotionally like mature enough to deal with his own problems, so he tries to fix other people's problems, and that's how his heart works. Like his motive is selfish, but the action itself is selfless. So that's in that way, the contradictory nature of that makes him a flawed heart. So he has like the criteria, but the way of him going about it is more so gray. So that's why he is a flawed heart. But you're using the term of flawed heart in like a different way where they don't actually fit the criteria, rather than like Steven, where he fits the criteria, but like the action and the motive is kind of split and more so goes into gray territory, which could relate back to the character arc. So that's where I say, oh yeah, that's a flawed heart. But you're saying a flawed heart when it doesn't apply. So I think those are two distinct different things.
A couple things on this really quick. First of all, Ultra, if you don't mind, if you could like edit the message to include the fourth thing just for the visual, then Kamui, he did post that if you want to show that on screen in case
I've
you
been
aren't.
showing it
I'm
on
not sharing
screen
but yeah.
long before you added
okay,
me.
Cool, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, cool. Okay, okay. There are two different ways to approach this conversation. We can approach it both ways, but like one at a time, obviously. So Ultra, it sounds like right now, and I think BlueStar, because you're using the term flawed heart, we are approaching this from like the trope perspective rather than just like heart in like a general conventional sense. And maybe when we get to that, it'll be like a lot easier and quicker. But I just for clarification, right now, this would be approaching it from the tropey sort of terminology is where this current conversation is, I'm assuming. So with that being said, BlueStar, thoughts on what Ultra said there?
Well, to be honest, Ian, even though I might have been using the term wrong, but I think there are some aspects from what you described with what Stephen did. You could argue Sakura is trying to do. I mean, granted, she doesn't have any necessarily problems of herself, but she is trying to put her teammates before herself at times. For example, hold on.
Wait, let me interrupt you for a second because I think I can help you. So, you ever watch Promised Neverland?
Promised Neverland. I've read the manga once, and
Okay, yeah, that's all you need. That's all you need. So, you know who's Emma?
yeah, she is the. She's the female of the trio.
Okay, so when I say the heart, okay, when you think about characters, think about that they have certain traits that they'll never change. They might change like under like extreme circumstances, but they have like baseline traits. So when you start saying Sakura and how she might display this way, she might display this other way, you're already breaking the criteria because the fact that she's switching means that she doesn't fulfill the term. So like if you look at Emma, she's always cares about her family. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. She always cares about her family. So like if we look at Conjuro, always cares about the group. So that like already says that they fit the criteria. But when you have to go about like the mental gymnastics, like, oh, do they? Don't they? That's already telling you that they don't. But like if you look at Emma,
in that regard,
Conjuro, they automatically fit it.
Yeah. In that regards, Sakura does because she always cares for Team 7. Arguably, yes, you could say she did try to kill. Yes, she did try to kill Sasuke, but that was during when period when Sasuke was pretty much a criminal terrorist and was also threatening Naruto's life. So she was willing to have Naruto hate her for her sake. But arguably, you could say that was broken down. But I would still say she was still trying to do what was best for like the two remaining teammates. But
why didn't she talk about it with Naruto and Kakashi?
What?
Why didn't she talk about her plan with Kakashi and Naruto? If she was the center and emotional center of the team, then she would talk about everything with everyone and talk about her emotions, how she feels about the situation. But the reason she did everything that she did was because she placed the responsibility on Naruto and felt guilty about that. That's why she did what she did. It wasn't about the group, it was about her.
Real quick, if I can jump in.
Where's that music in the background?
Oodie.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Just for clarification, so we were talking about like a flawed heart versus a normal heart in media, the tropes, the different terminology, just for the clarification for the audience. So the first like 4 things Ultra listed as compared to like the 5th thing of like consistency. So these would be like the 2 different terms between flawed heart and heart, or are we like which one are we on
No,
for the
the
sake of
consistency.
this conversation with
I'm
Emma
talking about.
especially?
No, okay. Like when you think about a character, right? Certain characters have certain like ingrained traits. Like certain characters, like they're always optimistic. Like that's who they are at their baseline. So like let's say we're looking at Heart, right? If we're looking at the character, like this is them. You're just thinking about that. This is them. This is who they are. So when you look at that, you look at Sakura, you look at Emma from Promise Neverland. She always, this is a non-negotiable. She always cares about her family. With Sakura, you can look at different points in the story where she does care about the group, where it's her own selfish things. So that shows that she's more dynamic when it comes to the specific attribute. When you look at Emma, no, she doesn't care. Always about the family. When you look at Tanjiro, nope, don't care. Always about the family. That's what I'm more so talking about. So when you have to say, in most of her points that they're not.
What I'm saying is that would you define Emma as a heart or a flawed heart?
Yeah. No, she's automatically a heart. And I think I would say Tanjiro the same.
So,
okay,
Oodie,
so then would you consider
I'll give you
Sakura
an
a
example.
flawed heart? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Attack on Titan, Historia would be a flawed heart the way Ultra is describing it. Because she's not, like, obviously she's a nice girl and all that, but as you get through, okay, real quick, have you, Ultra and BlueStar, have you seen Attack on Titan?
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen Attack on Titan.
Up to see, okay, perfect. Okay, so, like, throughout all of season 2, this is Ymir's, not the founder Ymir, the other Ymir. This is Ymir's point to Historia. You're over here trying to be the peacekeeper, the glue stick and everyone, all this blah, blah, blah. But, like, why are you actually doing it? Well, it's not because Historia is just the pure heart. You know, there's other aspects going on there relating to her character and her past, which is Ymir's point that she's trying to be like Historia, be Historia. So Historia is another example of a flawed heart. It's like, yes, again, she's a nice girl. That just because they have a slightly gray area motivations doesn't mean they're like secretly evil or something. But like,
yeah, exactly.
She's not just naturally being that way. There's other aspects underlying beneath it. So I think she'd be a good example.
Okay, so Ultra, you do think that Sakura is a flawed heart, just to clarify.
No, I don't.
No.
I don't think she fits the term at all. So it's like there's moments where she does fit the term, but it's not about moments fitting the term. It's about it fitting the character, and it doesn't fit the character.
Okay, so Sakura is neither a heart or a flawed heart.
She's neither. Yes.
Okay, and then BlueStar, are you saying she's one or the other, or neither?
See, I'd say she is more of at least a flawed heart, where she at first is a bit selfish, but then tries to better herself. Has mistakes, but she does try. And I do think there are definitely some aspects where she there are certain points in the story where she is the emotional core, heart of the story. As as there are certain points in there where her emotion, where she affects how the plot goes. It's particularly the dynamics of Team 7, mainly like the Promise of the Lifetime, the Kage Summit arc, stuff like that.
Yeah, but the Kage Summit arc would prove that she is a heart. That arc, Naruto's acting as a heart.
So I'm not going to say whether I agree or disagree, but I am going to give the disagreeant stance just to see what Ultra's counter to this would be, just for fun.
Sure.
So, and let me say the whole thing before you respond. So for the Promised Neverland, you listed Emma as an example because she's a heart, not a flawed heart. She doesn't change. She always cares for her family no matter what. Well, obviously, never changing would be in contrast, juxtaposition to the rest of the story, which is fluidly changing the world around her, the tone, direction, shift, whatever, of the story as it goes on, the emotional roller coaster. And there's points in the story where Emma, she always cares about her family, but she doesn't always act in a way that would necessarily be the most caring necessarily, at least from the audience's perspective. For example, she's like punching her family members sometimes, or she's like depressed other times and like unmotivated at certain times. I mean, she always like cares deep down, but I think you get what I'm getting at. So for Sakura, it would be similar to where the dynamic of Team 7 itself is constantly changing. And so I think that Sakura, when she's constantly changing as well, she could be adapting to fit the mold of the new Team 7 as it's fluidly changing throughout the story. Therefore, she would never be changing, at least meeting the definition of a flawed heart.
I don't know what you just said.
Okay, Kamui, thoughts?
I'm not gonna lie, I just tuned out because you were talking about Promised Neverland. I just stopped listening.
Okay.
I was like, no spoilers. I just turned off my brain. I was thinking about completely other things.
No, that's fine. That's fine. So what I'm saying is that obviously characters can have character development. That's fine. But a flawed heart, at the end of the day, or a heart, I should say, is one that stays consistent, stays true, no matter what. In this case, I'm saying that the story or the team or the dynamic would also be changing. So Sakura naturally would be changing regardless. What's that?
Why are you adding the extra qualifier? I'm confused because you said that the story is changing, the heart not change. I don't understand where you're.
Yeah, so I'll just argue against the Ultra in this case. Just because, so for example, in this Sakura case, the story's changing. Yes, Sakura can change too, but the heart aspect would be what stays the same. So if Sakura, hypothetically, was like a perfect heart, she's just always the glue that holds the team together. Well, Sakura can obviously have character growth separate from the heart. Like her self-confidence arc, for example, that can be parallel with her always being the heart or whatever. Like, I don't think just because the story changes, just as Sakura changes, doesn't mean her heartliness has to necessarily change.
Yeah, I agree.
But this is coming back to her actions versus her motive of selfish versus selfless. So, for example, Emma always cares about her family. Okay, let's say one of her family members is Josiah, and then Josiah just dies.
Who's Josiah?
Well, then, moving forward, her actions or motive is not going to be to care about Josiah. It's caring about a quote-unquote different family at that point, and it's going to reflect in her actions and motivation and behavior moving forward. Same with Team 7. I'm not expecting her to care about Sasuke as part of Team 7 when Sai is the official member and Sasuke is officially a missing nin. So the dynamic there has changed within the dynamic of Team 7 itself. It makes sense that Sakura herself would change to reflect that. Not that she's being consistent in her, or inconsistent in her morals or whatever, but that she's adapting to reflect the new changes of what she's being in analysis compared to in general.
So I think two things with that would be like in what sense are they being the heart of the team? Are they being the heart of the official document that says these are the members of Team 7? Or are they being the heart of the group of friends or family or whatever the group is that they care about? Because what you kind of described would be like Sakura only cares about the title Team 7, but not the actual characters, which ironically, I think would be an example of a kind of a flawed heart in a sense, to where she doesn't actually care about the people. She only cares about the title of this organization that is Team 7. You know, like in that sense,
that doesn't work because But that doesn't work because if they only care about the title, then that's not really a heart. That's more so a machine, because they're caring about the title more so the people. But they have to care about the people because that's the heart. So that doesn't really fit.
I think you can argue for being a flawed heart in that sense because it initially comes across as a heart, but when you break it down, you realize the difference. But that would be as far as I would go.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I don't think that's necessarily the case. For example, in like a sports anime, a team manager or whatever is going to care about the team itself, regardless of the players. It's also the team. Similarly, in like Attack on Titan, General Magath would obviously care nationally about Marley rather than Marleyans necessarily. It's also just about his pride of his home country. So I think there is an aspect
But
of
yeah, but is anyone
Sakura caring
calling
about
Commander
teams than
McGath?
just
No,
being
no,
as
no.
a title.
But is anyone calling Commander McGath the
No.
heart of Marley?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. But your
Yeah, I'm
sport
not using
analogy doesn't
McGath
work.
as an example of the heart, an example to make my point.
Yeah, but your analogy doesn't work if the manager of the sports team is not the heart and he's just the leader. Let's say there's a player on the team that is the heart and notices that someone else is playing on another team, and when they're playing each other, walks up to them like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man?" And after that, they go about playing and they think about more of it as a friendly game, but everyone else is thinking more of it a competition. Then that still fulfills the role as the heart because they still see that person as a friend and a teammate.
Okay. So are you saying? Okay, first of all, just for clarification, we're still on the TV trope aspect of this. So are you using machine as
No,
like a
we're getting meta.
terminology
We're getting meta
trope?
now. Wait, what?
Are you using machine as a terminology trope, or are you just saying machine in general?
No,
to
I'm saying
contrast
machine
the
because
heart?
Kamui was talking about they're more so thinking about the title. So I was saying the opposite of a heart, as in machine. Since they care about the title, they don't care about the heart. They care about something that's more like machine. So they care about like the title.
But are
But if
you
you're a heart,
using
you care about
machine
emotion.
as you would use it, or as TVtropes.com would
No,
use it?
no,
Just for
I'm talking
clarification.
about the opposite of heart, like machine. I'm like a play on words.
He's saying like
Okay, so this
object,
is just
like
an
they're
ultra thing.
machines,
That's
like they're
okay. That
tools. You know
answers
the
my
tool
question.
philosophy in ninja.
Yeah, I'm like talking about
Yeah, that's fine.
they don't care. Yeah.
Okay, so with that being said, can someone be both a machine and a heart?
No, that's not what I mean.
No, I understand it's the opposite or whatever. That doesn't mean it necessarily can't be both. For example,
separate
Zabuza
aspects.
could be considered as both.
I think you could.
No,
in
I said I agree
different
with
regards,
Kamui
but
when he
not in
said
this
that.
regard. Like, you can't be both the heart of the team and a machine in reference to the team.
No, wait, what do you guys mean by machine?
What about Zabuza? Would you not consider Zabuza as that? And if not, why not?
He doesn't have a. He's not the heart of the team.
I mean, between Haku and Zabuza, I don't see how it could possibly be Haku. So if there is a heart of the team, it would be Zabuza.
I don't feel like it.
Why would
but
it be
Haku
Zabuza?
doesn't need.
Wait.
I don't know. It's not that Zabuza. That's a weird example.
We're talking about like teams. I don't consider like 2-man group a team. That's a duo, not a team. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, then he's the heart of the duo. I don't feel like that's a distinction that needed to be made, but all right.
Okay, sure.
It's kind of a weird one.
Team can absolutely be two, by the way. Konohamaru has his team.
Okay,
He goes on 2-man cell division teams.
Regardless
Him
of
and
that,
Sasuke. Him and
Talking about that.
regardless
Okay,
of that,
talking about that.
Zabuza's not fulfilling the heart trope. Like, even if he's the reason Haku's there, it's not because he's doing the tropey heart of the team, caring about Haku. He's just like, hey, you want to be a tool? And Haku's like, oh, good.
Okay. Then I'll take that as a concession on your side of the Sage of Thick Calves debate. Thank you, Kamui. Moving on.
You could argue Zabuza deep down does care about
Oodie, no, you can't do that because the point is what he's outwardly doing versus what he's internally, like his internal feelings versus outward what he's actually doing. So in the Sage of Thick Calves thing, Zabuza underlyingly does care, but was he outwardly being a heart of the team, caring about Haku? No, he wasn't over there combing Haku's hair, give me like, hey Haku, let's go out to a nice little brunch together. He's not doing those types of things. Even though deep down he does care, that's in the underneath the mask. Outside of the mask, he's not actively doing nice, caring things like Zabuza said. So I never
Kamui,
even
I don't know why you're saying that.
Haku.
Like, that's disagreeing with me. I agree with what you said. That was my side in that debate.
No, it wasn't, because you were saying that he didn't care. Like, he wasn't mentally awestruck by Haku's death. That Sage and I were arguing that Zabuza was undergoing a little bit of a mental nerf post Haku death. You disagreed. That was the debate. Okay, don't respond. All right, moving on.
Well, no. Well, I do have a response if you give me more than 2 seconds. No, the debate was whether or not he physically hesitated. And so that would be in regards to his physical actions. So there you go.
Okay, he did.
So like I said, what I said. Yeah, so you agree with me, so thank you.
No, you don't. You disagree. We argued he did hesitate. You said he didn't.
Well, yeah, that's my point. So thank you for agreeing with me.
Your point doesn't make sense because you're just saying the opposite now. I said two different things, and you said that was my point to both. They're just a contradiction.
Well, no, Kamui, you can't just say that as if it's true. If you said 2 + 2 = 4, and I said your point doesn't make sense, you're saying opposite things. That doesn't make the thing that I said true when your thing is just true.
Oodie, we argued
Kamui.
that he hesitated. You said that was my point. Thank you for agreeing with me. We didn't, but we argued against you, as you just said with the debate. So what was your point in this debate? Because ours was that he hesitated.
So you misunderstood what I said. That's okay. Well, what I said is still what I said. So everyone
Oodie, I'm
else
gonna kick you from the call. I'm already in an annoyed mood before this stream. If you're gonna be a dumbass, just answer the questions. Just actually answer the questions.
Well, yeah, no, I have been. So.
All right, then
yeah,
I'm just gonna mute you. I can't do that, can I? All right. Someone else just present their point. I don't remember what we were talking about.
Okay, I think we kind of lost track of the topic. Okay. Let's see. Talking about Sakura being the flawed heart.
Yes,
being a flawed heart, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So BlueStar, what definition are you going by? Are you talking about the heart as in a metaphor? Or are you talking heart as in the TV tropes definition? Because I think if we clarify what we mean, then we could settle this faster.
I'd say the emotional core. I suppose the emotional core of Team 7, sort of the one that's the empathetic, the caring one, the one that tries to hold everyone together.
You mean the actual heart, or you mean the TV tropes? Which one are you referring to?
I suppose. Okay, what are the two again?
Are you talking about the heart, just how people says oh, that kid has heart, or you mean the TV trope heart?
I think more of the maybe not really the TV trope, as I'm not really looking at, but I guess I could say what a friend of mine has said. Granted, I'm not my friend, so I don't know, so I can't really argue on what she said, but she's described her as being the emotional monitor in the story in that sense, and what about the emotions and the human aspects of the story that when she's involved, both, for example, some aspects she has used is how for the emotional monitor of the story, she's the promise of a lifetime being a big part of that. Her fight with Sasori, particularly when they debate on the value of human life, if I recall, and back when during the Chunin invasion of Kohona, I think Sasuke wants to sacrifice himself so that Naruto and her can get away, showing that both Naruto and her have gotten Sasuke to care about people again, even if just for that brief moment, I think. And in the Gara fight, and wanting to fiercely protect, and also she wanted to protect her teammates a few times, I believe. And I think there's also the aspect where Kakashi did that lie to try and tell her that everything will be back to like it used to be. So to try and make sure that her feelings are not hurt and damaged. But like I said, I can't really argue for my friend. She's a much more better expert when it comes to arguing Sakura for me. And arguably, if Can was here, she could probably, whatever side she was making in regards to Sakura, could probably make a better point as well.
Wasn't Can supposed to be? What happened to that, Oodie?
I think Ood told me that, unfortunately... Hold on, let me just get what he set up. Saying that...
She said she wasn't feeling good.
Yeah, she wasn't feeling good,
okay.
So... let's see, she would have probably joined otherwise.
Yeah, but I think so far we just have different we had a different idea in mind where we were both talking about heart. So I think that's where the disagreement was.
Yes, I mean, I was just trying to respond to a question, and then eventually you responded to some of the things I was saying, and then it just led to a whole spiral of a bit arguments.
Yeah, pretty.
Which eventually I think Ood thought, oh, this would be an interesting podcast.
Who would you say is a
Listen,
heart?
I'm doing
Like,
my best. This is what happens when we stream early, okay? It's not my fault. I'm doing my best here. The fact we're doing this at all is already a miracle.
BlueStar, who would you say is a heart? Like, you just automatically like snap your finger, like, oh, that's a heart.
Let's see. Arguably, I'd probably say...
No, not arguably. This has to be like automatically, like you just know it.
Optimus Prime.
Okay, I don't know too much about Transformers.
Let's see, he's like the sort of arguably
I know
the
he's the leader. Yeah, I know
leader of the Autobots. Let's see, the inspiring leader.
Wait, won't it be Bumblebee?
Arguably, yes, Bumblebee could arguably be a sort of a heart as well in some aspects. As he's sort of like the usually the young Autobot that usually bonds with like the humans or humans, whatever it is, with the Transformers and helps
Yeah, he's like the bridge between both groups. I think Bumblebee would be the heart in that situation. Well, once again, I don't know too much about Transformers, so I'm speaking from like limited knowledge.
Let's see. I would also say Katara is sort of the heart of like
definitely.
Team Avatar. Let's see, where she tries to care for the well-being of each of the members of the teammates, even if she sometimes might get into arguments. And let's see, one aspect. Yeah,
you did write down Katara as an example on your list. If you wanted to go over like specifically why you wrote her down, since you and BlueStar agree with that could help like at least build a bridge of understanding.
I barely remember Avatar: The Last Airbender. I watched that stuff on
I believe you mentioned.
But we already agreed.
I mean, you remember enough to wrote it down, so.
No, it was on TV tropes. That's why I listed it.
Let's see. I believe you, brought up. I think one aspect I remember when Katara was brought up, you talked about how Sakura is trying to kill Sasuke, and I tried to point out that Katara also threatened to kill Zuko if he went back to his old ways.
So I think of how Sakura tried to kill Sasuke. I said when Sasuke was trying to leave.
I don't know. I do remember someone bringing up the whole Sasuke killing thing, but it might not have been you. But yeah. Oh, Space is asking which Prime, which version. Not all of them are the same. Well, if I had to pick one, I'd probably say Optimus Prime from Transformers Prime, as there was one.
I don't see what the problem with the Sakura killing thing is, because if Katara is threatening to kill Zuko because she cares about her group, and that's like the point. If she's willing to do that, I don't see why Sakura being willing to kill Sasuke because she cares about Sasuke any different. That's the reason she's doing it.
I think the difference
and
is...
also, Naruto as well. Just let's see as well.
It's the difference
exactly. She's doing it to protect Team 7. Basically, she's realizing Team 7's like gonna go down a hill if she doesn't do something, so she's trying to do anything at all.
Well, yeah, but that's the difference between just caring about the members and being the heart that holds the team together. Because if she's actively, ending the team by getting rid of one of its members, and possibly, I don't think this would ever actually happen, but in theory could anger Naruto to the point that he hates Sakura, she just ended the Team 7 at that point. That's not holding it together.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if the reason is because she cares about Sasuke and Naruto, she would effectively be anti-hearting at the same time.
But at least she would have to talk about Naruto, about what she's going to do to establish that in some way she is a heart.
You could argue that Sakura was keeping Team 7 together. First of all, she was going to marry Naruto, and then second of all, I don't think Sasuke needs to be alive to be a part of Team 7, because Team 7 is in their hearts, metaphorically speaking.
What do you mean she was going to marry Naruto? What are you talking about?
Well, she was trying to be in a relationship with Naruto. Okay, Space is asking us who is the heart of the League of Villains. Just curious.
It's either Twice or Shigaraki.
I suppose Shigaraki in terms of motivation, Twice in terms of the emotions. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I have Sakura. Let's see, Kage Summit. Arguably, yes, she wasn't telling Naruto all the steps of her plans, but let's see. Where was I going with this? Let's see. Oh yeah. Arguably, she didn't tell Naruto every aspect of her plan because she was trying to get him, to his well-being, first to try and make sure that she didn't find out that everyone was planning to kill Sasuke at this point. So it's like she would to make sure that Naruto would not hold a grudge against anyone else. She figured she'd take that burden, and as a result, let's see, if Naruto ended up hating anyone, it would end up her regardless. Let's see. So that he wouldn't lash out against anyone else, if you will. I might not be wording it the best way, but yeah. Let's see. I will say, in the end, probably the heart of Team 7 would, of course, be Naruto, as he is the one that manages to bring the team back together in the end. Mostly just because he just refuses to give up refuses to give up on Sasuke, even when arguably it goes beyond the point of reason at that point in the Kage Summit. But I do think at least Sakura at least tries to be at least at the beginning of part 1, but by part 2 I would argue Naruto is probably the heart.
Yeah, I don't have much to say.
I guess didn't Oodie and Kamui say that they would end up saying giving their final thoughts on about which side they would pick in that regards?
Yeah.
Or
yeah, we can. I mean, my opinion honestly is basically just ultras. I don't think she obviously. So Oodie and I kind of went. We actually discussed some of the stuff we've actually said on this stream about the fact that, well, Sakura and really all the members of Team 7 have their moments that would be like, well, if you look at this scene, that's like being the heart of the team. But there's too many moments that either go against that direction or are just not really quite right. I don't think she fits the overall trope of being a heart. It's just, she's not your prime example in Naruto, at least, who you're gonna pick as the heart. And I think Naruto would be a better fit if, I don't even think Naruto is fully the heart of the team, but I think he would be closer to it than Sakura would overall.
okay, now we just need Oodie to give his opinion, or have you muted him permanently? Oodie, you there? Hello.
Yeah, okay. My bad. Alright, give me a sec. Okay. Yeah, like me and Kamui said, and we can go over it in more detail in a little bit, but yeah, assuming that we're gonna keep streaming Kamui. But I definitely would say part 1 versus part 2, you could argue it's way less so the case, but I still think at least definitely in part 1, Sakura is absolutely the heart of Team 7. Like, I feel like it's weird to say that it's contentious at the very least. If you want to say that she isn't, that's fine. But I feel like if someone just said it was, I don't see why someone would be like contrarian that, oh, she definitely isn't the heart of Team. Like, it's just weird to me if someone said that. Someone's like, no, she isn't.
She's
like,
not.
That's just how I see it. So
because, like, for example,
fine.
though, it's like, I know I'm picking apart an example, but what heart of the team is just gonna leave the village because one of the members, like, Sakura is just ready to just ditch the village with Sasuke. That's not keeping the team together. That's just keeping her and Sasuke together. And that'd be the heart of the
team
couple of
doesn't have
Sasuke and
to be
Sakura, but that's
together.
not being the heart of the team.
Not even that.
Because that's
Not even that,
displaying Sakura's
Kamui. She said that she
reasoning
would be
isn't
alone.
about Team 7. It's about Sasuke.
Arguably, you could say that's when she fails to be the heart, as she's tried everything and this desperate thing, and it doesn't work, gets rejected, and now has to count on Naruto to bring Sasuke back.
Yeah, I mean, she can't do anything to stop Sasuke in that moment, so the only thing she can do to keep Team 7 together is to go with Sasuke.
No, that's not
What?
keeping Team 7 together.
Yeah,
Splitting it in
I'll
half.
give you more
That's
of the
making
part-
less Team 7 than if she stays.
Arguably, it's
Well,
more
how would it
said
be
what
less
it was,
Team
that she-
7?
Huh?
If anything,
Wait, 'cause you said
Sakura
there's
would
gonna
be
be
with
another-
more of Team 7.
Oh.
No, because there'd be Team 7 would be splitting groups of 2 versus 3 of them still in the village versus 2 in the village.
If Sakura just let Sasuke go, then there would not be 3 in the village.
The other would Sakura, Naruto, and Kakashi. It's 4 members of Team 7.
Oh my god. I'm not counting Kakashi right now.
Why? He's part of the team. And actually,
Yeah,
you
he's
should
part of
be
the
I'm
team.
talking
counting
about
him.
the
Because
actual
I was going to bring this up
kids.
earlier.
Okay, not the mentor.
What has Sakura, honestly, what has anyone on Team 7 done to care about Kakashi's? Nobody's done anything. Nobody's cared about Kakashi's mental well-being at any point.
Yeah,
Basically.
no heart because of that.
Okay,
Like-
they're a part of Team 7, but they're the instructor of Team
That doesn't
7.
matter. That's still part of
separate.
Team 7.
Team 7 is the one who took the tuning exams.
It's also Kakashi.
Like, Kamui, would you say Guy is perfectly fits the heart if we're talking about in the context of Naruto? 'Cause
I think
what he does
Guy
with his team,
and Rin are the 2 best examples of a heart when it comes to Naruto characters. Because Guy, if
I
I
think-
be honestly, just look at, I'm pretty sure it's anime only, but go look at the handshake scene right before they, like, rip off the stickers and fight their doppelgangers. Like, Guy's over here, he's trying to, like, bring everyone together at all times. Now, obviously, like, it's not like Neji's trying to, like, leave the team or anything, but, like, you can see that Guy is always enthusiastically trying to get everyone together, everyone to huddle up, you know, like, he's really trying to be that. And then Rin, I think, is a better example, at least in terms of what we see, because you've got Kakashi and Obito arguing and stuff. Rin, there's plenty of scenes where Rin just, like, grabs them, brings them together. No, Sakura does similar things at times, but I just think Rin does it better. She is just being, she's not trying to, like, keep Obito in because she wants to date him or what. She just wants everyone to be friends together. When Rin gets captured, obviously Kakashi and Obito argue for a bit, but Rin is ultimately the reason why Kakashi and Obito rekindle their relationship. I would not say Sakura is the reason why Naruto and Sasuke's relationship is rekindled perfectly, for example. Like, it just, Rin fits better than Sakura. Even though they're in quote-unquote similar positions, Rin just is more properly tropey hardy. And obviously Guy is just like...
That's totally laughable, as if Rin wouldn't have done the exact same thing in his position.
She didn't.
They're just not in the same position.
Okay, that's fine. As far as what we saw, Rin was more hardy. That's all I'm saying.
No, I disagree. If anything, Rin... Obito, Naruto wouldn't, or Sakura wouldn't have done that for Naruto at that point of the story.
you got
Say that
chopped up a
again.
bit.
Say that again.
Sakura wouldn't have just left behind Naruto like Rin did Obito.
What?
Bro, Kakashi yanked her out because Obito, the boulders were collapsing in the cave. Sakura would not... Yes, she would have. Sakura would not have crushed herself under the boulder for Naruto. She would have had to leave him. Sasuke would have yanked her out too. She's fucking tears in her eyes, waterfall coming out of her face, bro. You act like she just heartlessly left him. Okay, all I'm hearing is like wind from you, even though your thing's going green.
And walking.
Yeah, because I'm
Okay.
walking out of range of Wi-Fi. What do you expect? Okay, it's a mess.
I don't
All
know
a
where
mess.
you are.
The worst stream we've ever done. Am I heard again? Okay, dodging out of the way of rocks isn't the same as leaving, Kamui. She chose to leave.
No, the cave was collapsing. They had to leave.
Yeah.
And reinforcements will come in.
Okay, so she got out of the way of the immediate danger of the cave. Then she left.
So they couldn't get Obito out.
Then she started simping over Kakashi.
Sakura would have already been doing that for Sasuke pre, during, and post. Your point?
Bro, not right after Naruto quote-unquote died. And by the
Yes,
way,
she
Obito
would
still
have,
wasn't
bro.
dead yet.
Part 1 Sakura. Are you kidding me, man? She would have just started making out with Sasuke the moment she had the opportunity.
Sakura cared
Yeah,
infinitely more about Naruto than Rin ever cared about Obito. Let's
Okay,
be
that
real.
is just not true
Okay,
at the early story.
Okay. If I doubt Sakura would Mitzi make out with Sasuke immediately after Naruto died. She would.
If
Sasuke
Sasuke said
Exactly.
Sakura,
Like, Kamui
kiss
just being
me, she would
unreasonable.
have.
It's unrealistic. It's
Yeah,
unrealistic.
you're being. Sakura would be upset that one of her teammates, one of the people she cares about, dies. She might care about Sasuke, but I think she would be grieving about Naruto's death at that point.
Yeah, but if
Now,
Sasuke
Kamui,
said,
if you wanna
Sakura,
say-
kiss me, I'm sad, she would have done it.
Kamui, if you want to... Okay, that's unrealistic, first of all. Kamui, if you want to say that
Well,
it's
yeah,
because
but-
Rin is desensitized to war, whereas Sakura is a little bit more privileged of a Nepo baby similar to Boruto, that's fine, but it is still a difference. It'd be an explanation, which doesn't make Rin seem as bad as the person as it would otherwise be.
I think I'm overblowing the Rin thing there, but regardless.
Well, no, I think you're just treating it a little bit too simply, like treating the characters a little bit broad, in my opinion. Like, I feel like it's
trope.
to respect the characters, you got to take them to like their absolute max.
Well, no, if you're analyzing a trope about the heart, you gotta just broadly look at the character. You're not just gonna take their most heart scene and say, yep, they're the heart. You have to look at them broadly.
Okay, well, examples would be specifics, and tropes are more broad anyways.
Okay, but we're discussing a trope.
Yes. And we're also discussing a specific example.
Okay.
What's your point?
But broadly speaking, Sakura doesn't really fit the trope, in my and Ultra's opinion. I think Rin fits it a little bit better than Sakura would. I think Might Guy probably is our best example in Naruto.
I mean, you can say that about my guy. I don't really care about that. But
How can you not care about Might Guy?
that's not part of the
I can't
conversation.
believe you just said that.
We don't
What?
really see much of Team Guy to see Mike Guy being the heart of his team, to be honest.
Exactly. What you do see is him being hardy.
Okay, well, Kamui, if the most heartful character in Naruto is one we barely see, then I guess there's not very many hearty characters in Naruto to you.
Yeah, we were saying that
There
from the
are.
beginning.
I would say there absolutely are. You just have
Not
to
in
look at
terms of
what
this
is
trope.
actually going on in narrative.
Naruto just takes a different approach with its teams. Like, not everyone in Naruto has a heart of the team character.
No, because let's look at the specific examples that we've already gone over, okay? Sasuke leaving the village. Yeah, Sakura did her desperate last-ditch attempt to go with Sasuke. Who knows? Maybe she would have done a 5 Kage Summit thing and, like, stabbed him in the back to bring him back to the village. You don't know what was going to happen there. None of us do. That's just speculation, but I'm just presenting the possibility, not saying that it would be the case. But then what does she do immediately after? She says she's going to cry and scream to alert others so that Sasuke can't leave, and Sasuke's resorted to knocking her out to escape the village. So no,
Okay.
she wasn't going to, in the end, let Sasuke leave. In fact, I don't think she ever was going to. That was her ultimate end result choice. Thoughts?
I don't care about discussing Sakura on this anymore. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay, for the next one, Rin. Look at how Rin treated Obito during the tuning exams, basically oblivious to his existence. Then you have Sakura, who did care about Naruto.
Okay,
all
that's not even
throughout.
true. She wasn't oblivious to his existence. You see, like, she's still like being nice to him, cheering him on and stuff. Just Obito loses, and now she's cheering on Kakashi. Like, you act like she has to like stare at Obito the whole Kakashi fight.
Okay, well, no, I'm not acting like that just because you say I am.
But yeah,
so she watched both fights and cheered both of them on.
Let's see. I'd definitely say when it comes to like Sakura and Naruto in the tuning exams, when Kiba was briefly, everyone thought Kiba knocked Naruto out with one hit. It had like the whole thing focused on Sakura as she was talking about how far Naruto goes and like how wrong everyone is and thinks that Naruto is going to do this in the end to everyone wrong, and then you get Naruto back up. And everyone's surprised except for her and Kakashi.
Kamui, it's not just about cheering on your teammates, it's about picking them up when they're down. Rin didn't notice Obito in that moment.
Okay, but she's had so many moments with Obito. Like, I'm not saying that Sakura never cared about Naruto and never tried to pep Naruto up or all this shit. I am not saying any of that. Like I said, there's a difference between caring about Naruto and just being the heart as in this trope. She just doesn't broadly fit this trope. That doesn't mean she doesn't have several moments of being a wonderful girl and friend to Naruto. I myself love Chunin Exam Sakura. Probably my favorite Sakura. Lots of great moments. But that doesn't mean she, broadly speaking, fits the trope exactly.
Well, similarly, I don't know why you're saying that I'm not saying, because similarly, I'm not saying that Rin doesn't care about Obito either. She has her moments as well. But when you do the push and shove, get down to the nitty gritty, picking the details of who does it more, I think Sakura, in general, is more aware of Naruto's emotional understanding than Rin is of Obito's. Rin treats Obito as just a normal friend like anyone else, not necessarily as part of the team, because she's more focused on Kakashi than, in comparison, Sakura is in terms of Sasuke in comparison to Naruto.
Even if, in theory, Sakura cares more about Naruto, I think in terms of the presentation and results of the scenes we saw, Rin actually still just fits the trope better. Ironic as that may sound, that is still just what we witness.
So what in particular are you referring to when you say that?
Most of these are just come from flashbacks in the lore arc, but you just see like there's like a bazillion times when Rin just brings Kakashi and Obito together. She just yanks them in and like they stop arguing and stuff. Like there's just a billion like scenes like that essentially, and you don't get that with Sakura and Naruto Sasuke. Yeah, I'm sure there's one scene where she says, stop arguing. There's a scene where she tries to break up the Chidori Rasengan clash or whatever. But, like, in comparison, they don't do it the same way.
By the way, Space is posting a lot of the panels we're talking about in chat. Go ahead, BlueStar.
One could argue that if we saw more missions with Team 7, you probably would have seen more of this dynamic a bit more often with Naruto and Sasuke arguing, Sakura intervening, which I think you do sometimes see in the filler arcs. Which that does decide.
No, we absolutely see this a ton of times. First of all, in like serious moments, we see it like in the Forest of Death. She's like berating Sasuke because at least Naruto's doing something. I don't think Rin ever would have done that. And then you get to less serious moments. Whether you want to see this as her directly doing it or not, she's a vehicle leading to Team 7 coming together. And the tree climbing mission, because she helps out Naruto, Naruto becomes a rival to Sasuke, and it pushes them both further at that point. Just in general, let's just say like the bell test afterwards, Sakura's the one like pumping her fist and like screaming booyah and all this. So she's like the one excitedly bringing Team 7 together there. Even at the beginning of the tuning exams, before the written exams, she has some moments there with Sasuke and Naruto.
Okay, I'm not going to use the bell test as a great example, considering that Sasuke is the one who offered food to Naruto first, and Sakura and nobody tried to work together the first half of the bell test. Like, if anything, Sasuke ended up being the heart of the team, if you're going to argue that.
Well, they learned to work it out. And again, that's Sasuke having a moment, Sasuke having heart, but you look at afterwards, which is the moment I'm talking about, not the moment before, and Sakura's the one pumping her fist and stuff.
And
the one
she's leaving
being
Naruto
hardy.
behind. Strapped to
Also,
a
she
tree.
does try to feed Naruto.
Yeah, just like
liquid
Sasuke, the
oxygen.
supposed heart in that moment, right?
I'm not saying any of them were. I'm saying if you're gonna make the argument then in the bell test Sakura's the heart, then I would say Sasuke's more of it because he offered the food first. I don't think any of them fit the heart in this scene.
I think, let's see, in that regard, I'd say Sasuke is being more rational. It's like, okay, let's see, we need Naruto's strength up. That's more of that aspect.
Sakura told
let's see.
No, Sasuke, no, we can't. Sensei said. She tried to stop Sasuke.
Let's see.
You can argue otherwise. She's not leaving him there cold-heartedly out of malice or spite or hate or anything. She's paradoxically doing it because she cares, in the same way that Kushina would punch Minato because she cares, in the same way Sakura punches Naruto because she cares.
No, okay. First of all, obviously it's just a gag moment. Let's get that out of the way. Second of all, she's doing it because A, she's so excited that she's a ninja that she just isn't paying attention to Naruto. She kind of just forgot him. Or B, she just didn't care enough about Naruto to let him free because she just cared that she was a ninja. One or the other, or both.
First of all, it's a gag moment for the audience, not in universe for the characters. Those don't exist in the same way. Just to get that out of the picture.
Oodie, you shouldn't have said that because me saying it's a gag moment was for your sake. So now that you've said that it doesn't matter in universe, now we do have to look at my examples only. She either was so excited she forgot about her teammate, or she just didn't care enough in the first place. You've removed one of the options.
No, because you're not considering the option I already said. It's because she cared.
That doesn't make sense. She's not leaving Naruto strapped to a tree because she cared.
Okay, then I don't want to hear you ever say that Jiraiya cared about Naruto ever again.
Jiraiya never strapped Naruto to a tree. And first of all, if he did, it would be for training purposes. Sakura's not training Naruto.
To be fair, it's Kakashi that's strapped into that tree.
None of them
Sakura isn't
let him
directly
free. And
training
I'm not
Naruto,
saying any of them
but
are
it's the same as like a punishment or discipline to make Naruto more respectable and commendable as a shinobi. She's doing it for his sake in general.
Okay, you can make that argument for Kakashi.
You can't say
that
stop
is
like
not
that's
going
ridiculous
through
or
Sakura's head
unreasonable.
there. That's so ridiculous. I don't want to argue this. I want to move on to something else.
Right.
I don't know why you're saying that's unreasonable. That's just my interpretation. No, your interpretation that she forgot Naruto as Naruto's screaming doesn't make sense. That's worse than unreasonable. Like, she can't hear him.
I don't think it's that. I think she didn't care / it's a gag moment.
Yeah, it's a gag moment for the reader.
I don't think you're supposed to read into it. I think Kishimoto did it because it's funny and that's it.
As if other people in that situation wouldn't have done the same thing. As if Hinata was in Sakura's position,
nobody
he would
else
have done
is
the
the
same
heart.
thing.
The ramen guy wouldn't have done it.
You're just not looking at nuance. The ramen guy would have done it. Same with Aruka.
Same
with Minato. Same with Kushina.
Sensei. The ramen guy would have just let him out if he just walked in on this.
Okay, we're assuming the ramen guy is an actual sensei instead of a ramen guy. We're taking his personality, his character.
Okay.
Yes, it wouldn't be the ramen guy.
Should we wrap this up now?
I vote yes.
Whatever.
Okay. I think it's the arguably let's see, it's general census. I think we can say is let's see for like let's see me and let's see Ode think she is for most part plays a role for the heart. Let's see in part 1 of the story with Naruto more filling in the role in part 2, and let's see arguing that she might be a bit of a flawed heart, while Kamui and Ultra like convinced that she is neither the heart nor the flawed heart throughout the entire story. Might have some aspects, but ultimately does not think she fits that trope. But yeah, arguably we'll have to wait and see whether or not people in the comments decide who they agree with more.
Now, I'll say this isn't at all unreasonable. It's just presenting something reasonable and then having people counter argue it as if it is unreasonable. Just want to throw that out there.
Okay, fair enough.
No one out here is questioning it like that realistically.
Most people don't know what the heart of the team thing is in the first place.
Exactly. And that's not what we were talking about in the first place when BlueStar first brought it up in chat the other day. Obviously.
I joined
even
in
went there in the first place.
Post Ultra.
Yeah.
So my conversation by that point was about the trope by the time I got there.
Okay.
I don't know what was said before.
What does that have to do with what I said? Okay. Well, neither did I.
How do you know that that's the case? That if you didn't, what did you read?
Well, how do you know that's the case if you did? I don't understand. Like again, we're in the same position here. Why are you even using this as an argument against me?
Because you said what was the case. I'm saying when I joined in, it was this. I read when I joined in. And I said I didn't read the whole thing, so I know what's before. And you said, well, I didn't either. So what did you read?
So what do you think I said so that I can correct you on what I actually said?
You were saying that the original topic with BlueStar wasn't about the TV trope.
Okay. And you didn't join in during the original topic.
And I'm asking if you did.
No, I didn't join in during the original topic, no.
Did you read the original topic?
Yes.
Okay, so you read that part.
Is that unreasonable to start at the top?
Well, you said you didn't read the whole thing, so who knows what you did or didn't read.
Kamui, if I say, yeah, I started this cool book, but I haven't finished it yet, I'm not skipping a page 52, then 85, then 12.
I feel like
what do you mean?
would.
Oh, okay.
Because you don't like to read, as you made abundantly clear.
Yeah, I don't like to read. That doesn't mean I can't or won't.
Well, you won't when it comes to JJK.
Well, I will when it comes to Naruto. Wow, what do you know? It's consistent. Go figure. Okay, well, BlueStar Ultra, if you guys did have to go, you can feel free. I did want to continue this conversation at least a little bit in general.
Okay.
Well, you guys can.
But yeah.
I just personally
I can stay on.
Done with this.
I could probably stay on.
We'll see you guys.
Okay,
Ultra.
Yeah, because I didn't really care about the TV trope conversation anyways. I'll be completely honest, that's the part that like kind of bores me in this, because it just is one answer regardless of what we say. In a debate, it's not arguing what's true, it's debating, convincing the other side to believe your interpretation is true or not. But either way, the actual truth of the matter was settled before the debate began in the first place. Again, there's no point of having that. It's ridiculous. It's just convincing people at that point. But the actual fun thing, getting away from TV tropes, is a Sakura the heart of Team 7? Does Team 7 have a heart, etc., etc.? That's way more interesting of a conversation to me. That's where I'm excited to actually jump in. Before I do, did anyone else have anything to say?
Let's see. Well, Space is saying then what's the fucking point, Oodie? I think we'll do your long ass rant, but yeah, I would.
Yeah, that sort of was the point. Yeah.
Okay, but no, go ahead.
Okay, so here's the thing that I've been excited to say since the very beginning, is that, well, the question is Sakura the heart of Team 7? And again, me and Kamui went back and forth. This is where we actually get into that. So Kamui's points are, I'm just going to like broadly break them down, Kamui. So if you think I'm putting your words in your mouth or quoting you incorrectly, you can correct me. But like one of your broad points was that they all have moments. Every member of Team 7 has moments where they do something heartful, etc., etc., right?
Well, in terms of some of the ways it was described, so like, for example, I would not say Sasuke really does too many of that, but BlueStar had mentioned like the emotional core or being on people's minds, things of that nature, and that's really where like Sasuke would come in for the most part.
Yeah. Well, okay, let me break that down first before I get into my actual counter. Is that, first of all, I don't see anything wrong with saying there's either multiple hearts to where they're just all the heart of Team 7, or the heart is just divided. So like they're each 1/4 the heart of Team 7 or
That's
whatever.
not being the heart of the. See, that's just not being the heart of the team. That's just being in the team. And they have a heart. It's just not the same thing.
Yeah, okay, so I'm glad you said that because this is where I was going to get into my original counter anyways. So, Kamui, here's the blatant where the line in the road of the blurry line is drawn. It's not crossed, but it's I'm saying words. Okay, so come. Here's where I'm getting to. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi have heart. Team 7, separate from them, has heart. So when we look at the heart of Team 7, it's not looking at who on Team 7 has the most heart or the most heartful moments or whatever in terms of that. Rather than saying the heart of Team 7, it's better to look at it as the phrase Team 7's heart. So you're not looking at any character, you're looking at Team 7 as the concept, as the title, as Ultra put it.
Yeah, that's fine, but that doesn't make sense for a discussion about who the heart of Team 7 is.
Why?
Because it's not about who it is. Because as you just said, there is no, you literally just said it. It's not about who on Team 7 is the heart, but that was the discussion.
Okay, well that's just...
So that basically means the discussion's
true,
pointless. Nobody's the heart. Or they're all the heart. What I said.
Well, no, first of all, that's what I said at the second part of that. I don't know why you're claiming ownership of both of those. You could say that nobody was the heart.
You literally quoted me earlier. I said all of them are the heart. In that sense.
I quoted you on one specific thing. I did not the whole thing. No.
But they all are the same thing. It's all the same thing said differently. Like, your point is that it's not about who is on Team 7, which is what we were discussing in the Discord. Or, sorry, who is the heart on Team 7, which is what that discussion was talking about. You're basically saying that discussion's pointless because the question doesn't make sense. Either they're all the heart or none are the heart, which is effectively the same thing at the end of the day.
Okay, well, you're just getting to conclusions that you say don't make sense before I can give my conclusion on the point that I made.
I didn't say this doesn't make sense.
I don't know why you do that.
What I'm saying is that it's not about... I give up. I
mean, I could
I'm just gonna go cook some food. Just talk.
Instead of you going for me. Yeah,
I'm just gonna walk away.
Gladly.
You talk.
Okay, gladly. Yeah, so Team 7 as a concept, as a title, has meaning because it means something to the characters. And so what is that meaning? Well, it's up to our own interpretation on that, but it clearly has meaning considering how much it matters in terms of both the characters, the audience, and the story as a whole. So if Team 7 disbanded, that matters, that means something. So you look at the heart of Team 7, well, what or who is it?
Naruto, it's the Team 7 are the first bonds that he has made, the ones that are most important to him. Kakashi, these are like the new comrades that are able to fill in the gap for the ones that he has lost. Sasuke, let's see, reluctantly is arguably the new family he has after losing his first one, even if he doesn't necessarily realize it. And for Sakura is the people that she's come to care the most about in her life.
Yeah.
If I had
and I would agree. And just going with like Ultra's example, Emma is the heart in the Promised Neverland, despite multiple people in the Promised Neverland from the family having moments. So I don't think just because Emma isn't the only character that has moments, she just can't be the heart. And again, notice how I never said that nobody or everybody is the heart. I don't know why Kamui's just assuming that's where I was going with that, but whatever. But that's where we get to the actual interesting part of the discussion. And I sent Kamui a bunch of moments where I think Sakura is reflecting the heart of Team 7. It's mostly in part 1, but it's also in part 2. So Team 7 doesn't have to physically be near each other to be Team 7. Sasuke is still considered a part of Team 7 in Team 7 itself, despite Konoha not recognizing Sasuke as that, and despite Sasuke being not in Konoha, but at Orochimaru's lair. Sasuke is still, from Team 7's perspective, regardless of the characters in universe, Team 7 considers Sasuke a part of it, because Sasuke didn't cut those ties like he wanted to. He didn't sever the bonds. He's trying to at the beginning of Shippuden on a whim, but he can't do it. He doesn't do it because Naruto doesn't die. And so, what do you know? Team 7 hasn't disbanded yet. So it's still there. There is still a heart of Team 7 because it still matters. So I would say personally, Sakura is the one that's holding the team together the most. Again, they all have their moments, but I feel like if you take out Sakura at its core, Team 7, because it loses that vehicle of the bond between Naruto and Sasuke to like communicate as much as they do and develop the relationship that they have, you remove Sakura, you're essentially just getting to the part of the bitter rivals part of the dynamic by taking out like the emotional centerpiece, the happy core of Team 7. Because Kakashi's already like a dark, gloomy guy anyways, and Sasuke's like that too. Naruto's just going based on his drama, so you need someone like Sakura to be the giddy, excited, vulnerable, innocent little girl that she is in order for Team 7 to really work. At least for as long as it does. She can't hold the team together like glue forever, but it would have disbanded like immediately if not for that, because Naruto's just not gonna let Sasuke be the way he is, and the Kakashi's not gonna help out either, and obviously Sasuke's gonna contend that, so it's just gonna go straight to the Sasuke retrieval arc like immediately into the land of waves if not for Sakura.
Yeah, arguably you need to wait for Naruto to mature to become the glue that will fix Team 7 together, in which you could argue by the time of the Kage Summit, he fully is sort of like that glue, because Team 7 was about to permanently break apart because everyone was trying to kill each other, but he manages to stop that.
Exactly. And you were talking about the glue as well. So getting away from TV tropes again, just how we would define heart, because I don't really care for Ultra's TVtrope.com definition. That's whatever.
And to be fair, I kind of find TV trope to be a bit biased in certain regards.
Yeah, it's just some other guy writing it, and he just says it's right. Like, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at how the TV tropes writes Hinata, you think she's this perfect goddess, but when you see them writing Sakura, that's like she's the she devil or something. I have seen that.
Exactly. No, it's similar to Wikipedia, to where you can just edit on TVtropes.com.
Yeah, there's even been some. I've even seen some of my friends I know try to like edit or point out certain facts about Hinata or Sakura, but immediately get deleted because it's like, oh, it's not agreeing with the viewpoint that's been put on there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah.
So when you look at the heart of Team 7, it's the fact that Team 7 matters, and if Team 7 was disbanded, it wouldn't matter anymore. So Team 7 being banded is something that matters. So I think being the glue holding them together is a part of that. I would say, again, even in the 5 Kage Summit arc, Sakura isn't disbanding the team by killing Sasuke, which, by the way, she never could do in the first place. So you could say it's a mistake or a flaw or a narrative mask or whatever. She never was going to kill Sasuke, so that was never a concern in the end anyways.
Yeah, and you could even argue her actions did eventually have Team 7 fully reunited since the first time since, like, what happened in part 1.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. Because of what she did, it allowed Naruto and Sasuke to have that talk in the first place. That's a pivotal moment of the series. That's a Team 7 conversation. Not a conversation between Naruto and Sasuke, a conversation between Team 7. It's about Team 7. It's revolving around Team 7. Because Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Kakashi, they're all just members of Team 7. They themselves aren't Team 7. They're just individuals. it's similar to the conversation me and Kamui were having the other day about the Akatsuki versus the Phantom Troop, how it's either a group or organization to where they just are Akatsuki members, or the Phantom Troop, how they just are individuals working together for one unified goal or purpose. Team 7, for the most part, does do that, at least in part 1, and Shippuden gets a little bit more complicated, but even then, especially like in the War Arc, they're still doing that. And even before the War Arc, it might not be like one unified goal or vision necessarily, but you could argue it is because Sasuke and Naruto and Sakura and everyone else wants to take down the Akatsuki. They all have that unified goal. They might be conflicting, but they were conflicting in part 1. That's just a complicated relationship. But overall, it's still a relationship. So the dynamic is still there. Regardless if they're in support of one another or not, at least on the surface level, they can at least deep down be on the same page. Again, just like the War Arc. They weren't necessarily agreeing outright. Sasuke didn't come back to the village and be Naruto's friend in the War Arc, but they were still using teamwork. In that case, it's a little bit more direct than the rest of the series, but at least before that, but it's still definitely there. And again, going back to the 5 Kage Summit, just because, let's just say hypothetically, if Sakura did kill Sasuke, that doesn't mean Sasuke is just off of Team 7 or not a part of Team 7 or that Team 7's disbanded or whatever. Because again, Sasuke doesn't need to be alive to be a part of Team 7 in the same way Sai's brother doesn't need to be alive to be Sai's brother. Because it's that bond that matters.
In a sense, you're saying he's there in spirit.
Yeah, Sasuke the individual would be dead, but he would still be a member of Team 7. In the same way, when Konan died, she put her paper, her red paper, on the board with Yahiko and Nagato. They're still a team, all 3 of them. That team never disbanded. That team is still together, even though all of its members are dead.
Mm-hmm.
The Akatsuki, on the other hand, you could argue did disband, because they're, whether living or dead, there's no members actively pursuing the Akatsuki's goals or giving purpose or meaning to the Akatsuki. You could argue Shin did in Boruto, but he was just Akatsuki in name. He didn't know what the Akatsuki wanted in the first place, so he's just pursuing his own selfish things outside of the Akatsuki, whether or not he actually knew that they were what the Akatsuki was doing or not. But I don't know why he would just assume that's what the Akatsuki was doing in the first place, so it's kind of weird.
And arguably, the Akatsuki aren't really people that are trying to be in a lovey-dovey bond. There might be some members that get along with each other or dislike each other, but they're all working together for a mutual advantage goal, which, for most of the outer members, they thought it was world domination or the destruction of the current shinobi system. And in fact, secretly, it was like this, genjutsu to cast the entire world.
Exactly, yeah. And this gets into like a broader Sakura conversation, BlueStar. But personally, okay. So just going to like Sakura and Sasuke's relationship.
Yeah.
In part 1, it's like flimsy, but it's at least there. It's okay. Like Sasuke's blushing and everything. Like they're being active members of Team 7 together. They care about one another. In Shippuden, you could argue Sasuke's toxic, doesn't care about Sakura, etc. Trying to cut his bonds or whatever. That's fine. That's not when they get together. They get back together when Sasuke is like reformed and a good guy again. So if you want to say Sakura and Sasuke's like dating relationship, it's only technically ever been good because the bounds start within the bounds of a healthier relationship. And if you want to say, well, Sasuke's leaving, okay, well, are war veterans bad couples? I would argue no. I would argue there can be just as much love there, if not more, than a normal relationship. Sure, it can go wrong, but any relationship can go wrong. Just because it has that as a catalyst inciting incident, that doesn't matter, because in the narrative, the story itself is telling you Sasuke is inside of Sakura's heart, even though he's not physically there, because he's still fighting for Sakura on like the battlefield against the Otsutskis, etc., etc. He's doing it to protect Sakura and Sarada, his whole family, because he cares, because that matters to him, in the same way that it cares and matters to Sakura.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I know. I just opened a whole can of worms for you, but please go ahead.
Because, oh boy.
Where do you even want to start with that one?
You're literally talking to the biggest anti-Sasu person.
I know. Trust me. But to be fair, again, I'm using your points that you've said in the past, not just like randomly against an anti-Sasuke person. Because again, I've heard your points. A lot of your points stem from the fact of how Sasuke acts towards Sakura, especially in Shippuden. But that's not where they're like dating or anything at that point. So I think it's fair to say, at least regardless of their overall total relationship, specifically their dating relationship wasn't like harmed or anything by that.
Arguably, but frankly, to me, I feel like there is not the bridge that should have made that. Let's see, there was not enough to like make it look like, oh, this is believable, because like 7 chapters ago, you had like Sasuke saying he had no interest in her whatsoever. Then suddenly, after getting his butt kicked, he suddenly has interest in her. So, frankly, it feels like no. It feels like there is like it just happened all too fast. Let's see. Suddenly, you had the kids like no. This feels like this is forced. It's like Sasuke is sort of guilt tripped into thing. And frankly, I feel like Sakura emotionally should not be like fully on forgiving and like take time. Frankly, it makes both characters look freaking awful to me. I mean, granted,
I get that.
Let's see. I'm not probably arguing it the best, but frankly, I think with everything that happened with them in part 2, I can see them trying to keep a bond of like teammates again. But I think a romantic relationship should have died off at this point.
That's completely fair. And like, I'm not going to say that you're wrong or anything for thinking that. It's just a different interpretation. At the very least, it's looking at what the story's doing, regardless if you agree or disagree. And counter that, and maybe Kamui, if he is back or whatever, he can like support me after this, but or maybe disagree, who knows? But I would say to counter that is the fact that I think that, yeah, Sasuke didn't like have like a interest in Sakura in that regard, but that doesn't mean he doesn't view Sakura as attractive. For example, if you view like, I don't know, a magazine that has a Romanian supermodel, #1, objectively prettiest girl in the world, you could be like attracted to her, but that doesn't mean that like you're attracted to her or that you're like gonna pursue her or go after her or whatever. Like she just is pretty, but you're not like interested in like a relationship with that person. I think that's how Sasuke viewed Sakura. And then going forwards, Sasuke obviously wanted to cut his ties off with everyone. That was a mistake that he realized. I think people can change, and maybe second chances if you believe in that, whatever. I'm not going to use that as my argument, I'm just going to present that. But then the point is that it's not like artificial or superficial. He's not going after Sakura because he's romantically attracted to her or whatever. He does think that she is pretty in general. But my point is that he's acknowledging the fact that she cares.
Where's Sasuke in the entirety of the series said that Sakura is pretty? Because the only one I remember saying that Sakura was pretty was Naruto.
Okay, but to be fair, Naruto also thinks Sakura is ugly at the same time, which is hilarious and a different topic, but on Sasuke's note, he never outright says it.
When has Naruto ever said Sakura's ugly? I've never heard
Naruto says it like in his sleep, which is hilarious. Like when Sakura's in the room.
That was a filler. I'm pretty certain that was a filler.
I'm pretty sure that is filler.
It might be.
Because there's also scenes of Naruto sleeping, talking about how pretty Sakura is. So like, it's just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's funny though.
Regardless, though, I'm gonna bring this up into a rewrite question after. I generally would agree with what Oodie's saying in the sense that Sasuke has always like. Now again, remember, I'll come to a rewrite aspect after. I would say generally, Sasuke does think Sakura's attractive, and he has grown to care/love her over the course of part 1, really. However, just like Naruto, Sasuke's mindset is, I need to cut my ties to get stronger, which gives him active reason to push away Sakura, Naruto, everyone, including romances. The same thing would apply with Karin. Like, he wouldn't want to pursue her because his anti-bond philosophy, not to mention that he also doesn't really care about Karin anyway. But besides that, and then obviously, so once he reforms at the end of the story and is like, okay, bonds do matter, it would make sense for him to be like, all right, Sakura, I will date you after all. with that in mind, though, do you think, so there's going to be pros and cons to this, but do you think it would have been better if that was just a little bit more clear? If, however you want to do it, I do think subtle would be better for Sasuke's case, but in this case, you could argue it's too subtle. So would you have preferred if there was some sort of scene that just clearly indicated Sasuke's attraction towards Sakura, not Sakura, and then, you know, you would basically put together what I just said anyway, but you would just be a little bit more clear that he liked her.
Perhaps if there was a moment where Sasuke did say he did think some aspects of Sakura was cute, yes, but I think the moment 693 happened, no, I don't care what happens after. There's no excuse, as far as I'm concerned. That relationship should have been dead in the nail of the coffin. You could say it like, okay, maybe as friends, teammates, it's even sibling-like, if you will, but romantic relationship. After that, no.
693, just for clarification, that's when Sasuke does the genjutsu on Sakura before going to fight Naruto.
Yes, and then it's that whole, I have no reason to love her, and she has no reason to love me. Yeah. I mean, that is literally one of the worst chapters in this entire series as well, by the way. But,
let me
but
real quick before I go back upstairs again. I'll pull it up.
So in that moment, just as a refresher, I'm quoting this off the top of my head, so call me once you pull it up, maybe you can like get a better idea of what it's saying. But so Sasuke does the thing to Sakura after Sakura basically saying that she's not going to let Sasuke go and fight Naruto because it's like the same thing she's doing at the end of part 1. And then Sasuke says thank you again, like he does at the end of part 1, puts Sakura under genjutsu. Kakashi is basically berating Sasuke, like, bro, what's the matter with you? Sakura's always loved you, and this is how you treat her. How can you be so cruel? Sasuke's response is basically that he's not, like, interested in Sakura like that at all, and that he's trying to pursue, like, a greater purpose. He's, like, a bigger vision, which is his revolution. And then, like, he and Naruto just go on to fight.
And let's see, he doesn't say thank you again like in part 1. Let's see, in fact, I feel like the thank you. No, he says you're still annoying.
Yeah, you're still annoying. Yeah. Okay, to be fair, when he says that, he's like smiling just like in part 1. He doesn't literally mean that, even though that's what he's saying.
Yeah, I don't like the good translation. You really do make me sick. You're still annoying. So
no, that's definitely not the translation. Because what he's doing there is he's quoting Sakura from the very beginning of the series.
Exactly.
When Sakura said that Naruto is annoying.
Exactly. That's why it's so much better the way the English dub did it with the "you're annoying" thing.
Yeah. But he's not like literally saying that. He's saying that Sakura hasn't changed from back then.
Yeah.
And how he like views her. Yeah. It's just like a thing with their relationship. It basically shows that, ironically, it shows that Sasuke does care because he remembered that. That's important to him at the very least.
Yeah, and then also like when Kakashi's, I'm gonna post these in chat as well as have them on my screen here, but.
So, BlueStar, I'm curious, is there like a specific moment here that is the nail in the coffin, or is it just like the whole scene like holistically?
The whole scene. I don't care what Sakura fan says. There is no justifying it. It is disgusting, and frankly, it made for many people that was the final nail in like Sakura's character.
So Sakura, Sakura or Sasuke?
Sakura.
Okay.
I think this makes it worse, and also. It does not help when Kishimoto down the line says that Sakura, he cannot think of any reason for Sakura to like Sasuke. Frankly, the only reason I think Sakura even likes Sasuke is that she still thinks that he's the one that complimented her forehead when it was actually Naruto.
That's hilarious. I do love that.
Which means it's a whole relationship based on a freaking lie.
Okay, with that in mind, for Naruto and Sakura get together, I think that should be the revelation that leads her to when she finds out at some way or another that Naruto's the one who complimented her for it.
To be honest, it's literally the same thing because But see,
With the hair.
because Kishimoto talked about her hair, and then Minato liked it, and it's like it's the exact same thing.
Exactly.
Is the
Yeah.
exact same thing.
Completely agree. In fact, I think if Kishimoto, hypothetically, if he did do that, I think that's almost forced to where you have to go the Naruto Sakura route. That's the nail in the coffin for me. That's the one that I personally would have preferred anyways. Sorry, Hinata. I think that Naruto should have ended up with Sakura. But again, it's not like the end of the world. It's not the nail in the coffin. I'm not ruining this. I'm not burning books because of the ships or anything. It's all fine.
The problem is there's just both make sense as far as Naruto and Hinata
Yeah.
and Sakura. It's really the way I look at it is it's Sasuke and Karin. I don't know, man. Like I don't think anyone's just gonna
bro,
love
that's the
that.
one I will say no to. No point when you have so many better ones.
So
my thing is that I don't want any ship. It's that I want all of them.
Yeah, and then
I will say this for Sasuke Karin. I don't see. There's some issues I have, though. There are some people that are better arguing for that relationship than me. I'll say at least when it came to like that brief flashback in the tuning exams where Karin was saved by Sasuke, and you see Sasuke genuinely smiling. I think I think that is at least a decent enough reason why Karin was like let's see, at least had reasons to love him, because it's like she saw that smile, it smiled at her. He saved her, so I can see why she pursued him and trying to see that smile again.
But I'm more so looking at it from Sasuke's perspective. There's just no reason for Sasuke to choose Karin.
Well, I think one aspect that I think that might have been Kishimoto was going is when he made Karin an Uzumaki, in a sense, you could be tying Uchiha with an Uzumaki century.
That has no
Power scalers are the ones that want that, not anyone actually invested in the story.
Well, actually, there are, I would probably argue Sasuke Karin fans, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not the best person.
Especially after Naruto guided.
I'm not the best person to, arguably, arguably, I would take Sasuke Karin over Sasuke Sakura. Granted, I still have my issues. Granted, I will at least say this. I think Karin, despite, that bit moment where she seemingly forgives, I think she's still at least pissed off with Sasuke stabbing her and all that, even when she sort of accepts his apology, which, to be honest, I think she should have slapped him in the face. That would have been a lot more... It's fascinating. I think all the girls should have been punching Sasuke in the face at some point. But arguably, let's see.
I think real quick, they could still have Karin get all giddy over Sasuke after, but she should have immediately she screams Sasuke apologizes. First she slaps him, and then she can be all goofy after. Just give her that one moment real quick.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Honestly, I would have probably preferred that, but it seems like Kishimoto just will not allow anyone to, whack Sasuke except maybe Naruto, if you will.
Yeah, we're all reserved for Naruto.
Yeah. And 693.
So here's my question,
to be fair... Okay, go ahead, Kamui.
Would have Sasuke... Because this is the way I see it. If Sasuke doesn't end up with Sakura, or I guess Karin, he's just gonna end up alone. I feel like I don't want a Karui Sasuke relationship. Don't do the Choji thing. I don't want that. It's gotta be something that makes sense. And there's just no other
reason this
options.
matters. Yeah,
I guess
Naruto
Ino is
isn't
the other option, but that's also
anything. Naruto is a story about hope and optimism, so if a character, one of the main characters, such as Sasuke, has a flaw that he wants to be a lone Avenger, and then he learns by the end of the story that he doesn't want that, yeah, he can face punishment and consequences, which he does, his own journey of atonement. He's literally locked up in prison for a couple months. But that doesn't mean, permanently his life should be ruined in the sake of the Naruto story, which is about hope and optimism.
And that's why, and I also don't like him just as he just learned about the importance of bonds, or relearned, I guess, or however you want to put it. To have him end up without bonds just feels wrong to me. I feel like he has to finish the story.
I'm not saying Sasuke not end up with bonds. I'm just saying, in terms of romantic relationship, no, I do not agree with with everything that happened between him and Sakura, they should be in a relationship. If you have him with some random girl, I don't care. I just do not want to see Naruto, see Sakura with Sasuke. I don't care. It is at this point too toxic.
Yeah, it is toxic, like you said, and a lot of people in real life have disowned the series because of this. I think it spreads a bad message to females. I would be really curious if Cam could step on for a little bit to talk about this, but maybe another time at the very least. I think personally it's fine, but like I'm not everyone, so it's understandable for others to have this opinion. So, okay, a couple things I want to say here is, first of all, Kamui, I think your rewrite is fine.
Well, I'm not saying
Again, your rewrite is saying to add more obvious examples of Sasuke liking Sakura or finding her attractive.
To clarify,
I think, again, that's fine. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not saying that would be better. I was just asking, would you guys prefer?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not saying it'd be worse, but I don't think it'd be necessary more rather than like removing or changing anything. And the more rather than like removing or changing anything. And the things, it would just be more of the subtle things they have. Because the problem really here is the fact that it's so subtle that it's hard to pick up on in the first place.
So you're getting at, so
yeah, go ahead.
As it is, like I said, there's an argument for that being better in this case for Sasuke to have it be that subtle. What I was basically saying is you could either make some of the subtle scenes just slightly less subtle, or just add some additional slightly less subtle scenes. So like I don't know what off the top of my head, but just like I said, I'm not saying have Sasuke be like, wow, Sakura, she's so pretty, but no, I cannot date a girl. I'm not saying to do that. What I'm saying is keep it subtle, but it would have to be a little bit more noticeable to where it is noticeable. In that case, would be like the hypothetical.
Again, so the reason that I'm saying this is, again, I understand why to present this in the first place, because it's so subtle that it's hardly noticeable in the first place. Again, that is a problem, I'd argue, but at that point, I mean, it's like, it's kind of on the reader at that point, I think, to some extent, but like most readers, understandably, aren't going to pick it up. So it's hard to say in general, but so yeah,
because I like it
almost
subtle,
like
but that might be
paradox.
too not good overall.
Yeah, it might be a problem for at least the masses. So the reason I'm saying this in general, I don't think this necessarily applies to all stories, but I think it does apply to Naruto, where it is about subtlety. Literally, the series itself directly calls this out. Naruto in the Final Valley at the end of part 1, the culmination of all things leading up to that point. Yeah, even though we've never said it, you and I are friends. And to go along with that, what do we get? We get Naruto and Sasuke not talking, but instead smiling at each other. It's that subtle thing. That in that case, it's literally obvious. It's calling it out. So I'm not going to say that moment is subtle, but it's pointing out, hey, this is about subtlety directly focused. Like it's unsubtly telling you this is about subtlety in that moment, but then they have a lot of other moments, like with Sakura and Sasuke, where it is about subtlety. And it's not just Sakura and Sasuke that have subtlety. There's a ton of other subtleties in the series as well. For example, even the very final thing we say, one of the core messages of the whole series, the seal of reconciliation, no words being uttered, not even a narrator. They just zoom out in both the end of part 1 and part 2. They are saying something there. And again, it goes along with the themes of Naruto. Talk no jutsu, what is it? When you break it down to its simple concept, and I mean a really basic premise, Naruto is a story about shinobi who fight hand-to-hand combat. Naruto is a shinobi who's fighting not with his fists, but with his words. And that, again, because Naruto's a story about peace, that I think is trying to paint a very clear message through that subtlety. And I think the subtlety is one of Kishimoto's best aspects in general. He does yin and yang and the concept there really well, in my opinion, through the subtlety. And so I think the relationship between Naruto and Sasuke down this dark path he's going down, and through her care of Sasuke, just like Naruto, she wants to save Sasuke, to bring him back to the village. The promise of a lifetime that Naruto made to Sakura, that goes both ways. That's not just Naruto. Sakura wants the same thing, which is why that promise matters. Naruto's saying that he's going to do what Sakura wants to do because she can't do it at that moment. Later on in Shippuden, she is a valid candidate to do what she wants to do. But in the end, it was Sakura's goal, which became Naruto's goal. Naruto was going to do it anyways.
but that's the promise of the lifetime was Sakura's thing, even though Naruto's the one that made it.
Mm-hmm.
So you could argue that after Sasuke is back in the village, maybe Sakura would pursue. I don't think that is necessarily the case, at least not at first. Sakura, now that she's realized something is wrong with Sasuke to the point of like go back to pretending like it's normal until Sasuke himself is redeemed. So it's not just like kidnapping Sasuke or beating him up and bringing him back, or he still wants to be an Avenger and killing Itachi or destroying the Leaf Village or any of that. No. Even if Sasuke comes back on his own, Sasuke himself would need to be completely redeemed for Sakura to then feel like it would even possibly be okay to continue romantically pursuing him, in my opinion. Despite the fact that the whole time she would love Sasuke. Thoughts?
Arguably, yes, but the problem is, it's you don't see any of that. It's immediately, oh, wait, no, they're in a relationship and all that. And also the fact that, frankly, it looks like she's also been growing feelings for Naruto throughout, particularly part 2. And also, I would say, you still have Sasuke in his bloody, out of the village so much that the point where he did not, his own daughter did not actually meet him until she was like 12 years old or something.
So here's where I will agree with you on a problem with Kishimoto. So first of all, I'm gonna is that he had troubles coming up originally with Sakura's original design for Chapter 4's volume cover thing, whatever that is. That's what he said. Not that he even has trouble drawing the female characters, but that he had trouble conceptualizing Sakura's first design. Which, you know what else is similar to that? Naruto's goggles and a bunch of other things. Just the general art style of Naruto as a whole changed throughout the series. So, that being said, he's not bad at writing female characters. You could argue just in general he is, but Kishimoto never said that. So that's the first thing I want to say there. Before I go on, thoughts on that?
That'd be interesting because to this day, you still get a lot of people say that he's bad at writing female characters, even I'm sometimes. And with the way how the series ended, that seems to have just confirmed for many people, okay, that's the case. Personally, I think like he can be pretty competent. Sakura, particularly when having her work bad when it comes to her feelings to Sasuke, I think is quite a very effective character. The best example is when he's writing her in the Kazekage rescue arc. Frankly, I feel like that is when Kishimoto was writing Sakura at her peak. And to this day, I would still argue that Sakura versus Sasori is still the best fight I have seen for a shonen heroine.
I think I would agree with that. I do think I agree with Kamui that I think the tuning exams might be Sakura's best moment, at least as a character directly. You could argue, as funny as this is, the Sasuke retrieval arc is Sakura's best concept as a character in the series. But that's a whole other story at the very least.
That's more like
he's not in the arc, obviously.
Her role in the. It's more like the utility of Sakura versus Sakura's development in and of itself.
Well, but Kamui, that's what I was getting at with the Heart of Team 7 thing, is that, yeah, the bond between Naruto and Sasuke is there. It's Sakura's utility, which helps it be amplified so much more.
Well, really only on Naruto's end, but regardless, I don't care about that. Real quick.
I
just want to do this before we get too far away from it. In regards to subtleties with like Sasuke Sakura, this is my honestly favorite example. Some of this, half of this is, or really, these scenes are in the anime, but it's different in the manga. So, first of all, there's no Iruka, genjutsu, kidnapping Konohamaru, fighting, so that just isn't in the manga.
Yeah.
So Iruka's not going to pep up Sakura, or in any way. Sakura is just depressed. Forget Sasuke, I can't even keep up with Naruto, and the tuning exam's too much for me, blah, blah. So Sakura's here, she's looking weird. Sasuke's looking at her. Sakura, she's acting weird today. Or the other one, what's up with her? Then the Izumo, Kotetsu and Izumo are doing their genjutsu trick thing, the pre-first exam trap. Sasuke's like, genjutsu, blah, blah, blah. Then he says, it was easy, right, Sakura? You were probably the first one to notice it. Huh? Your analytical ability and genjutsu know-how is the best on our team. Wink. It says, here, do. Wink. Sasuke winks at her after he says that. She blushes. Sasuke, thank you. And then, of course I noticed it. Obviously, we're still on the second floor, blah, blah, they undo the genjutsu. So this is just Sasuke clearly paying close attention to Sakura, her behaviors. And then he knows she's down. He finds a way to get her pepped up. Like a really good way. You see him first, he's smiling here. Sasuke's thinking back, or Sakura's thinking back to that when he was smiling, and blah, blah, blah. So this wouldn't work if Sasuke didn't care enough to pay enough attention to Sakura to notice that she's being weird and that she's depressed. The title of this chapter is literally Sakura's depression. So Sasuke can't do this unless he pays enough attention to Sakura in the first place. And he's probably not going to pay much attention to Sakura if he doesn't care in the first place. This doesn't have to be romantic, of course, but it shows that he cares, because this just doesn't work otherwise.
Yeah, and again, there's like 10... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I would say, yes, arguably at this point, I can see Sasuke slowly and surely starting to care for Team 7 at this point, but I will say, let's see, by part 2, let's see, it's mostly non-existent for her. Let's see, for him, the only time when I can think of that he had a positive memories of Team 7 as a whole, or even Sakura, is when he was comparing Taka to Team 7.
That's exactly what I was going for here.
Yeah.
Just to show it.
That is literally the only moment I can see genuine, and that was Team 7 as a whole. Afterwards, no. Let's see,
I will add, just because that's the only moment present on screen doesn't mean that he's not thinking about Team 7 throughout the whole rest of the story. I think it's because it's shown there, you could imply that it's omnipresent just throughout the whole story, and at least to some extent.
Okay, real quick, this is hilarious. This might be colored manga only. Sakura looks like her Shippuden design. Well, Naruto looks like the Vert one design.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't have no idea what Kishimoto's doing with that bit there, but
That's
Let
crazy.
me see if that's the same in the manga of the Viz.
frankly, the only time when let's see, arguably, yes, you could say he's shown. Let's see, you could say he might be subconsciously thinking of Team 7, but I've only really seen him individually think of Naruto as separate from Team 7 throughout part 2.
So that's fine. He does have a specific bond with Naruto outside of Team 7. I mean, they had a bond before Team 7 was formed in the first place. So yeah, they do have a Team 7 bond, but outside of that, Naruto and Sasuke also have just a different bond in general. Again, just like a ton of other people in general, like Sasuke and Sakura, they have a romantic relationship in Boruto. They also have the Team 7 bond. That never went away. They have multiple types of bonds, in a sense.
Frankly, let's see, Sakura is so absent from Boruto. I'm not even sure if they even have a very active relationship, to be honest.
No, that's fair. If you want another example, I would just say Sakura and Naruto in Shippuden have a bond of friendship as well as camaraderie-ship of Team 7. So just personally, they just are friends outside of Team 7. But then in Team 7, that's a secondary bond layer that they have as well.
Mm-hmm. Arguably,
that would
yes.
apply to a ton.
Arguably, I'd probably say, let's see, throughout part 2, let's see, they're arguably friends/best friends with hints of romantic tension.
Yeah. In fact, I'd say that's, again, the crux of the series. It's the bond between Naruto and Sasuke, not the Team 7 bond, not the rival bond or the friendship bond, but the kid bond, to where they related to each other's pains as kids, considering the whole series is about understanding, which is, the bridge to understanding is about overcoming conflict, etc., which is, war, peace, and all that. And the seal of reconciliation is the last thing we see. So I definitely think that's where they are going with that, but yeah. Even their talk no jutsus, it's always about Naruto and Sasuke being kids and alone, but together alone. But anyways, like Kamui was saying, that's just like one example. That's like a very subtle, simple thing, barely present in the story, but he was able to break that down with so much in-depth detail. And you can do that for like 10 different examples of Sasuke blushing, probably like 15 different subtle lines of dialogue that Sasuke says, etc., etc.
Yeah,
So there's
and
definitely a lot of examples, as nuanced as they are.
most of these are more present in the manga. I've only read up to like
Yeah.
beginning of Search for Tsunade manga wise, but it was the most blatant thing I picked up on when I was reading through it. I was like, okay, Sasuke and Sakura just makes more sense in the manga immediately. It was the first thing I was like, if I had to pick one difference, that's the difference.
Yeah.
Well,
back to what you got.
I have to disagree, especially as the time goes on with the story. You see more parallels especially with like the Team 7 parallels, because if each one you kind of see it, it's more focused on, let's see, you've got like the Naruto, Jiraiya, Obito, and so similar dynamic you see is like, let's see, you have like, let's see, the sort of goofy one trying to best the genius rival, if you will, or trying to save them if they defect from the village. And but the one thing that you can see consistent with each of like the goofy knucklehead is that they each have a thing for the female one, which they at the moment are more of pursuing a relationship for another. But let's see, and from what I can tell, let's see, the way the story is going is that Naruto would rescue Sasuke and get him to acknowledge him as a rival, and then you'd let's see get Naruto win the girl's heart over, for better choice of words. When you add those sort of parallels to the story, it feels like you need to follow it through, and he did not.
That's fair. And that gets back to what I was saying. Before that, I do want to add, again, just going back to I know Kamui doesn't care about this conversation, but the Team 7 heart conversation. I feel like Naruto and Sasuke are so invested in their like personal bond relationship that they aren't really as concerned with the Team 7 bond. That's more like a Naruto 2, Sakura 2, Sasuke's love triangle sort of relationship there. Sakura's the one that really cares about Team 7 the most of the three, in my opinion. Team 7 as a concept. She's the one that wants Team 7 to be reunited. She's the one that's always thinking like, I'm at their backs, I need to be with them as a part of Team 7, etc., etc. Naruto and Sasuke, they're just thinking about each other like outside of the aspect of Team 7 in general. Just their personal rivalry or personal friendship or personal kid trauma bond experience. They don't have as much about Team 7 as Sakura does, but maybe that's just my opinion.
Well, what you just granted, I think you could argue Kakashi might care more, but ignoring him for a moment, what you said I would agree with, but that's where you get back into the like, there's just different aspects of the heart being applied to them, because Sakura might be more concerned about the team versus like the individual, where Naruto's more focused on Sasuke, just bringing Sasuke back versus restoring Team 7. But Naruto's actually doing all the actions that lead to sticking the team back together, and stuff. It's not, nobody's playing the role in of themselves. It's just split up in their own ways.
But that's just passive versus active, because Naruto's also passively pursuing Hokage the whole time through his like stepping stones of getting Sasuke back and everything.
But else. I feel like the heart's supposed to be more than passive.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, is that Sakura is the one more actively doing it than Naruto, who's passively doing it. Even if Naruto's doing it just as much,
I think it's the other way around. Naruto's
Sakura.
actively doing it despite not caring about it as much as Sakura.
Can you give an example of how Naruto does it more than Sakura?
Yeah, he's the one who actually, well, first of all, Sasuke retrieval arc, not like Sakura went there, Naruto went. 5 Kage Summit, well, it's just the whole time. Naruto takes the lead on bringing Sasuke back multiple times, but it's the point. He actively does bring Sasuke back, and he tries more often.
I would argue Sakura has as much of a role in that arc as Naruto.
But she doesn't actively do it. Which arc are you referring to?
I would argue she is. She's actively confronting Sasuke before Naruto does. They just both actively confront Sasuke once in both respective arcs.
Okay, but Sakura wasn't willing to leave the village over it.
Well, you yourself said that Sakura was willing to leave the village. I'm the one
you're
that said she
misunderstanding.
might not.
She wasn't willing to leave the village to bring Sasuke back. She was willing to leave the village to go with Sasuke. Not quite the same.
I mean, if you believe Sakura had her word there, but
regardless, I just think the role of the heart is shared amongst the team, which is why I wouldn't say anyone is the heart. But I don't.
I agree. It's shared amongst the team. That doesn't mean one can stand out as the heart. Just because Naruto and Sasuke have heart, I wouldn't say they're the heart
compromise.
Of Team 7.
We could say Naruto and Sakura tie for the most. Sasuke's obviously in last place. But
yeah. I'll even give you this, Kamui. I think outside of Team 7, Naruto unequivocally, universally has the most heart in general. Like, Naruto's heart is tenfold. He's got the Grinch's heart at the end of the story compared to Sakura. But I think it's not about the characters, it's about the team. And when you look at the Team 7 heart, I think Sakura is the one that really is the heart there.
But then that's when you get back to the discussion. This is why I don't want to keep doing this, because you just go in circles. You get into the discussion of whether or not it's about the title of the group or if it's about the individuals in the group. Because Naruto obviously is caring about Sasuke the individual far more than the title / the group of Team 7. Whereas Sakura's case, obviously she cares about Sasuke individually, but you would argue that Sakura cares more about the team of 7, whereas Naruto cares more about the Sasuke who is on Team 7. Well, the heart cares about the individuals to bring them together into what happens to be a team versus bringing them together because they're on the team.
I wouldn't say just because Team 7 is together, there's heart. I would say
so what I'm saying
not
is,
about them being together at
so
all.
you might just disagree with this, but I feel like what the heart should do is the heart cares about the individuals who just so happen to be on that team, bringing them together because he cares about the individuals, not because it's to keep the team together. Just he cares about Bob, Joe, and Josephine, and he wants Bob, Joe, and Josephine to be friends, regardless of the fact that they're on basketball Team 7. Whereas in Sakura's case, now obviously both are going to care about both, but in Sakura's case, it would be more about, I want them together so we still have our basketball Team 7. Not because she particularly cares as much about Josephine's mental well-being. You get the point. Then you start arguing, what does it really mean to be the heart? And that's why I don't want to do this, because it's never going to end. Unless you just compromise.
Well, okay, no, it can end, but I do have another aspect to go with this, where I think you're going to be okay with this. I think one difference, and I thought this because you made that analogy, is it's easier to say what the heart of like a football team is because there's a very clear, distinct goal. The heart of the Patriots is to win the Super Bowl. It's to be good enough that they gotta win. They have a clear end goal. Team 7 doesn't have that, at least not one that's as defined or obvious. They have individual goals, but again, the Patriot members can have individual goals. Maybe the quarterback wants to do the Super Bowl or win the Rose Bowl or get money or score 20 touchdowns, but that's not the heart of the team. That's the heart of that individual. Yeah, Naruto wants to become Hokage. I'm not going to say that's the heart of Team 7. So what would I say the heart of Team 7 is? Well, what is Team 7's goal? What do they want to do as a team? I would say it's to go on as many missions as possible, succeed as many missions as possible, and to grow as a team as much as possible. I would say those 3 things.
I think it's really just to be
I wouldn't even
together.
Necessarily say like world peace or anything.
It's just to be together, to like to spend time together, ninja together. It's just about like being together.
Well, that would go along with point 3, but I think my point 3 is a little bit more refined, but I think point 1 and 2 would still stand. Like, it's not about just that, it's also about like Team 7, they go on missions.
Yeah, but that's just about them being ninjas spending time together. I don't think they really care. Like, yeah, they want their mission records to be good or whatever, but it's really about just being together, like on doing the team thing together.
I mean, I would argue that's more of the individual goal. I would say from the concept of the team itself, its original purpose in the first place is about the missions.
Well, yeah, from the village's perspective, but Naruto, Sasuke, none of them cared about that.
Well, the village is the one forming the team, to be fair. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura is just placed onto the team.
Okay, but then if you're gonna go by that logic, the heart of the team's the one who cares the most about the mission success, you know? Which I don't think
Well,
is
again,
the
that's
point.
why I listed 3 things. I don't think it's just one or the other. I think it's all. It would include the missions, whereas you're saying it's not including the missions.
Not in the sense that we use. I just feel like this
Again,
is just
it's not like who forms the team. Like, I'm not going to say the heart of Team 7 is Hiruzen or Aruka, or again, like not Kakashi either, but because again, Team 7 was going to be formed either way. If Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura were never in the academy, it would have been, I don't know, Shino's team, it would have been Konohamaru's, it just would have been some nameless 3-team trio. The Team 7 would still be there, just with different members entirely. Again, because considering Team 7 was fluid anyways, Team 7 does get different members as the series goes on regardless. But the team itself is still Team 7.
Yeah, I think you just can argue it from like 800 different perspectives and just yeah,
again, that's why I don't want to like put it on a person, because again, let's just say hypothetically Hiruzen's the one that made Team 7. Why did Hiruzen make Team 7? For the goal of accomplishing missions to earn money, revenue for the village, blah blah. I'm not going to say that's the heart of Team 7. I'm going to say Team 7 has its own individual heart outside of Hiruzen and outside of its members. It's similar to football. I wouldn't say the football CEO who made the Patriots team as a concept is making 54 teams instead of 53 or however many there. I'm not going to say he's the heart of the Patriots. I'm going to say the Patriots as its own unit has one heart. Again, this goes back to the Phantom Troop as opposed to the Akatsuki. It's working for one unified goal. It's whatever that goal is, and whoever defines that the most from the team itself, as opposed to the individual members and what they want. It's the team, not the creator and not the people in the team, but the team itself. That's where you got to look at it. That's how I see it. But we can move on.
I'll just quickly just say that Space is asking a question. It's he saying that by our issues with Sasuke x Sakura, if it's like Izuku got together with Toga, in a sense, yes, I would argue perhaps Toga is more of a yandere kind of character, really, than what with like Sasuke and Sakura being a bad boy and good girl kind of thing. Right to make that comparison. But yeah. Sorry about that. This is the question that was just asked by Space a while back. He actually asked you a while back as well. But yeah.
Yeah. BlueStar, on the Sakura Sasuke critique, one thing I will give you, this isn't about Sakura Sasuke specifically, but more of a broad point. If I was to critique something, I don't know, I'm not adamant about this, but I'll at least present it as like a possible critique that I would possibly have, is that I think the Naruto story, how it treats relationships, isn't enough. It's not respecting the relationship that they're setting up, in my opinion. And again, I don't know if I fully believe this, but I'm just going to word this at least in a word vomit way that makes sense to me. It's sort of like Lee in Shippuden. Lee's full character arc is just done in part 1. You don't need to include him in Shippuden at all. He's just throwing him in there basically for fan service. I'm not going to use literal fan service in like the romantic sense in the terms of the analogy, but what I will say is that it feels like Kishimoto already has everything he needs from the series, and he's throwing in romance for no reason, and then at the end result, you have the pairings, but because the romance was never treated with care or focused on or had time to breathe or develop in the series, again, I don't know if I agree with that, but I think that is an argument that you could make, that he's not as intertwining it with the narrative, because the narrative, it's just go, go, go. And I don't think that's a problem. I think the way the story's presented right now, it's perfect that he focused not on the relationships. So you have to change the story to include those further aspects of the relationship, to just include them in general, rather than having them almost thrown by the wayside, almost in the background, as you are focusing on progressing the actual narrative A story as it is. So how I would say is the way to go about that, instead of Naruto loving Sakura or etc., I would just have him care about Sakura. They don't even have to specify why. It could just be in general, as a person, as a friend, as a member of Team 7, etc., etc. The problem with this is that it obviously ruins some narratives, like Obito loves Rin, that's the point. Hinata loves Naruto, that's the point, etc., etc. And I think, again, some pairings that just don't happen, like Karin and Sasuke, there's no reason not to include that. It doesn't like progress the story, but I don't think it's necessarily bogging it down. But I think, again, he's not spending enough time focusing on this when it feels like it almost is a focus, considering it's like a thing at the end of the series that feels like it was supposed to be set up, but never really was.
Well, in a sense, arguably with Sakura, you could argue, yes, see, when you've had her, the primary thing with her is like a love triangle between with Naruto. It's like the sort of standard where boy likes girl, let's see, girl likes, let's see, another boy, but let's see, boy has no interest whatsoever. And let's see, in a sense, it seems like he based, from my understanding, Kishimoto based the love triangle of Team 7 based on the one that was in Slam Dunk, from my understanding. Let's see. And in some ways, it's like, the way it looked like the story was going is that, let's see, like the boy likes girl, girl likes boy thing. But it looks like more like it was going to have the girl slowly start to notice the boy that likes her and then start growing feelings for him. And arguably, that's what seemed like it was being built up, particularly in early part 2, especially that line in the Tenchi Bridge where she's asking Yamato if she can learn wood style, and he says that only he can actually do it, and then feels like she can only do the small things in Naruto. Yamato sort of hints, like, let's see, it's what matters what you feel, and he seems to implying that Sakura is growing feelings, but unfortunately, let's see, before he could finish his sentence, Naruto wakes up. Let's see. So frankly, it looks like the building blocks of a romance is being built up towards more of Naruto and Sakura, especially towards early on in the first half of part 2. And there's even some more, I guess you could say, subtler hints with like, particularly the, let's see, Sakura trying to feed Naruto ramen, which I think it might be implied romantic gestures in Japan. That only couples would really do something like that. And there's also, arguably, okay, yes, there's the, I suppose you could say, infamous Konohamaru sexy double jutsu thing, if you will. Where, okay, you have like, you can notice that the two have very similar reactions to that types of jutsu. Arguably, yes, Sakura's reacting to a naked Sasuke and Sai getting it on, if you will. But it's more of the, I think it's more of the reactions that you see both Naruto and Sakura have with each specific jutsu. They either both like one or just hate the other. Showing that they both have sort of that sort of perverted mindset, personality, if you will. It's even Sakura's a bit more colossal about it. And there's also, like, arguably the hug at the end of the pain arc.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention. In fact, I was hoping Kamui could take that point away. I was thinking about, that's a specific example I would reference. So the fact that Naruto and Hinata don't talk in the pain arc doesn't ruin the pain arc. You know, the stuff between Naruto and Pain, the whole point of the arc, that's not changed in any way by Hinata's thing. But looking holistically, knowing Naruto's going to end up with Hinata, assuming he did at that point, it's weird not for them to like ever come back to that or mention it, because again, it is a focus at the end of the story, but it's never like developed. But Kamui, I know that you are the one that really love using that as a thing.
Like, obviously, to clarify, whether Naruto and Sakura end up together or not, Sakura's hug scene with Naruto is great. I love it. Like, regardless, it's just a good scene for them. But I completely agree. Knowing that Naruto and Hinata will end up together, whether it happens right after, like let's just say Naruto hugs Sakura, then he sees Hinata smiling in the distance and walks up to her next to say, Hinata, thank you, or whatever. Whether he does that, whether it's in the 5 Kage Summit arc where he talks to Hinata about what she said, or even the frickin' war, I don't know. It's just never, like, Naruto's talking to Hinata in the war arc after Neji's death, and even then, it's like, they're acting like they just never confessed in the pain arc or something. And it's not like Hinata's like, Naruto, remember when I said I love you? And Naruto's like, wait, you did? I forgot because of the Night Tales. They didn't even do that. It's just never brought up. And then to make matters worse, you have the war arc scene, and then you get to Naruto the last, and he acts like that never happened. Like,
well, to be honest, let's see. This is a friend of mine once said this when we were reviewing the Pain arc on my channel. It's like arguably the first video I ever actually did on my channel, split into 2 parts, by the way. He thinks that honestly, you could have easily removed Hinata from that whole scene with like 437 and replace Hinata with Iruka. In a sense,
I think we talked
you could
about
see
that much before,
Naruto losing
Yeah.
all 3 of his mentors at the same time. It's like first it's like Jiraiya, then Kakashi, and then finally Iruka, and then you
And
could
that
have like
kinda makes
arguably
sense, though. Because when it's all 3 mentors, 2, it's almost like a payoff to like Kakashi saving Iruka in the first, because it doesn't. What was the point? It was a cool ass moment for Kakashi, but beyond that, why did Iruka need to be saved in that moment? Well, in this case, as it is, it doesn't matter. He was just going to get revived. He was going to get tipped off anyway. It doesn't matter. But in this case, that could be. Iruka would be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Because Iruka was saved, Naruto hasn't lost it yet. But when Iruka does die, that's when he does lose him. That would make sense because Iruka's the first one to acknowledge him. Naruto's brought that up a bazillion times. Iruka is his quote-unquote father figure in the story. Like, like Iruka is objectively probably the best person. Now, I like Hinata doing that there, to be fair. But since they didn't do anything with it, I say just have Hinata get knocked out just have Hinata fight one of the Pats and desperately trying to protect Naruto, and she gets knocked out or whatever the hell, or she gets killed. They just didn't have to be the one in that moment. Iruka going down there makes sense though. That's Naruto. Like, you get a fucking flashback to chapter 1 when Iruka saved Naruto, and so after Iruka gets stabbed, Naruto has a flashback to when Iruka saved him right before transforming. Like, that works, bro.
Yeah.
So it's like
yeah.
Go on.
I was going to say, Kamui, we absolutely did talk about it, because not only do I remember talking about it, this was like 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, whatever, I remember specifically crediting BlueStar for this idea as well. So I even remember, I was like, man, I wish BlueStar was here so we could talk about this with him.
I was not expecting to have this quite bit shipping conversation with you lot in this. I was expecting this with possibly even with Makichi and Retrospect Greg in another stream, or maybe possibly if I ever get my friend Chat on here.
Well, we're supposed to do that.
That'd be good. I would love a cam and chat conversation. That'd be great to see. The 2 soccer experts. That said, back to the idea is that I don't think having Sakura go down, I don't think having Hinata go down in the Pain arc doesn't make sense, or it makes sense, and it doesn't ruin the arc. It doesn't make it better necessarily if you change it out. It's just changing the arc in that place. But I think what it does do by having Naruto never confront Hinata, again, this doesn't change the Pain arc, and it wouldn't bog it down, it wouldn't make it better. It doesn't change the Pain arc, it would just change the Naruto Hinata story, since that's a story that they have expanding anyways. And so it doesn't matter if they do it in the Pain arc, and that's what you're getting at. It doesn't matter if they do it in the Pain arc, 5 Kage Summon, or War arc, because it's not about those arcs. It's about that story separated from the arcs.
Yeah, and it just so happened
they don't really
have a moment in the Pain arc. Like, that moment could have happened anytime, and the same arguments would apply. But real quick about Iruka, one more point for Iruka. If you recall, when Pain stabs here, I'll go pull it up real quick. When Pain stabs Hinata, do you guys remember what he said? As specifically as possible.
This reminds me of when my parents died protecting me from the Leaf Ninja.
Okay, yeah, he said, it was just like this when my parents were stabbed right before my eyes. Now, like I said, even though Nagato might not necessarily know that Iruka's Naruto's father figure, at the end of the day, now this is just like when you, Konoha Shinobi, kill my parents in front of me. But Iruka is Naruto's father figure, his parent in this case. It just works better to have the parent be stabbed than the love interest, per se. Just fits what he's saying.
Or a girl that has a
Yeah.
crush on the main character.
Yeah.
Now, for the sake of the conversation, I still want to have the point be the same, to where it's not making the arc better or worse by changing Hinata out or whatever, because the point is focusing on Hinata's story, not the fan arc. But you're really making it hard for me to not say that just is objectively better in every regard.
Well, again,
Well, it is.
but here's the thing, though. It kind of is, because obviously, in the hypothetical that Hinata confesses, and they actually do something with it, in this case, either in the end of the pain arc or in 5 Kaguya Summer arc. In that case, you have an argument for the Hinata case. But as it is, no. The Irika one is just better because it is just elevating the pain arc, because as much as I love Hinata doing this, it just... Irika in this place works better narratively and thematically, and with Pain's dialogue and everything Naruto said, it just does work better in that case. And technically speaking, Hinata could just do her confession in the war arc. Whether it's at Neji's death or a different point, whatever, she could just move her
that'd be
confession
awful.
there. And,
No, not at Neji's death. That ruins everything.
It already
But,
does,
yeah,
though,
it's fine.
because Kishimoto said in an interview that he killed Neji
Bro, it's
to try to get
cap.
Naruto and Hinata together. So
It's cap.
why not make it
Neji
more
wasn't
obvious?
playing Cupid. It's cap.
Yeah.
Neji never says anything about it at all. That's not the point of the Neji's death. It's wrong. He's lying.
That's the
Figure it out.
exactly.
And everyone
it doesn't make
believes
sense.
him. It
but
doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't. But if that is Kishimoto's intent, with his intent in mind, it would make more sense to put the confession there.
Well, to be honest,
Listen.
I think that will just make people hate that Hina even more, to be honest.
It did.
Yeah.
It
Kishimoto's
did. People like
intent
Naruto
makes no
explain it.
sense. That's the
I
title
know
of
this
this
is why I
video.
know that, because he said that he liked Neji's death until that line. Now he hates it.
Listen, that might have been his intent. I don't care what his intent was. He just didn't do his intent. Okay, it's not there.
I think for me, it speaks volumes that if you have to kill off a character just to make a romance work, you shouldn't make that romance work.
Neji proves Kishimoto wrong in the series. Naruto asks Neji, why did you do it? You know, Neji's response, because you called me a genius. Oh, did Naruto say, oh, you want me to end up with Hinata? Oh, that's what you said, Neji?
No,
Okay,
he
cool.
said, Neji,
No,
why
no,
did you
that's
do
not what
it?
he
Neji
says.
says, so you can end up with Hinata.
Bro, it doesn't even make sense. It ruins Neji's character, if that's your interpretation.
That's what Naruto
awful.
explained, basically said. I remember that from an old video. Like, it just ruined the death for him.
God, it makes me
Now, it
so
doesn't
bad.
make sense also, though, because, like, Naruto the Last, that's also part of it for Naruto to explain. I remember, like, he doesn't like it because Kishimoto said that. He ends the manga the way it does, whatever. But then they proceeded to do Naruto the Last, where that just isn't the case. You know, like, which I don't like it for similar reasons, too, but... Yeah. Either
To
way.
be fair, I don't think Hinata needs to confess as it is. I'm not going to say I wouldn't like it. Yeah, obviously I love Hinata's confession even the way it is right now. And personally, Kamui, I know you're going to disagree with this because you already have. I do think they did play off of it, at least as subtly as possible, in the war arc or Naruto the Last, referencing back to the pain thing. Again, I know you're going to disagree. You already have, because you said that they didn't do that. I think they, to some extent, that's not the conversation we need to get to. But I think having Hinata not confess also works because, yes, she does just generally love Naruto and she finds him attractive and all that. But I wouldn't say she's necessarily trying to pursue a relationship throughout the series. Not that she isn't, but that she's content with her relationship with Naruto the way it currently is. Not like fully, because she's like stalking him or whatever. Like she wants to go say hi, but it's not like she like needs to be in a relationship with
like,
Naruto.
She only said she loves you because Naruto asked, why are you doing those?
Yeah, like Hinata's whole thing is that she loves Naruto. Well, first of all, if you go with the anime, then in like the like 7th from Final Toe and Hinata as kids, you know, the kid story episodes where you get 2 kid stories per episode, we get to see Hinata's like first meeting with Naruto, which is retconned in Naruto the Last to that scene. If you want to say that's their first meeting, I don't think that was. I think the anime one would be it. But if you want to go with the manga interpretation as a third interpretation, it's because Naruto as a personality, the fact that he's a failure, but he refuses to give up. That's why Hinata says that she loves Naruto, because that gives her the courage and confidence to do what she does. And you know what? She doesn't need to confess because she does use courage and confidence elsewhere. Imagine hypothetically, it's the same character arc. Imagine hypothetically, instead of fighting Neji fiercely, in that moment, instead of fighting Neji, she just confesses to Naruto and then doesn't fight Neji. It's the same thing, but infinitely worse and makes no sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense, but it's worse.
No, it's not the same. It's so much worse that it's not the same. But regardless, like, but to an extent, though, you could argue it'd be better if she didn't confess, given Naruto the Last, where Naruto just doesn't know that Hinata likes him. Well, that makes more sense if she doesn't confess. Like.
No, I wasn't even going to say that. That's in addition to what I was going to say. In fact, yours is a good starting point for what I was going to say. I was going to say the fact that subverting expectations, this whole series, you're watching the fact that Hinata's the one that loves Naruto. That's hammered in since day one. And then what happens in Naruto the Last? Naruto is the one who tells Hinata he loves her. Naruto's the one that confesses, not Hinata. I think that's a big point that they could have even driven home even more so if Hinata never confessed.
Yeah.
She didn't need to.
Yeah, that would have worked. Now,
cool.
I'm not saying I don't like, obviously, before, we all like the confession. And in this case, I mean, all right, hypothetically, Iruka's in this moment, and he just says, like, Naruto's like, why Iruka? And then Iruka basically says what he says in chapter 1, be like, because you're not the Nine-Tailed brat. Like, you're one of my you're one of my students, and in my eyes, you're like a little brother, or whatever he says later on. Like, he just says something like that.
Thank you, Kamui, thank you. Yes.
So then,
because
where would you, and hypothetically, Hinata is going to do a love confession moment, and you want it to be good, like this one. Where else would you put it?
Okay, before that, I want to thank you once again for saying like a little brother, because I don't care what the story says, as you've said in the past, my perception of Naruto is a life experience. Iruka is a little brother, not a father figure.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
That's my Naruto.
Well, no. So here's the thing. Iruka looks at Naruto like a little brother, but Naruto consistently refers to Iruka as being like a father.
That's fine. And I even like it in the final episode of Naruto when he asked Iruka to be his father at his wedding. But I think in part 1 is more life experience-y if Iruka's old brother. Suck it.
Well, the problem, though, is that that's not what Naruto says. Like, I mean, just, like, go to Sasuke Retrieval arc.
Yeah, no,
like, Iruka's
it's
like a father,
not.
You're like a brother.
Yes, when I recorded those episodes when I was 7 to watch back that moment on TV, I'm watching it back because I'm changing the words in my head to Iruka is like a brother. I'm actively, purposefully doing that to make it more life experience-y.
But that doesn't make sense,
That's the reason I went back for that scene.
But then, Sasuke wouldn't stand out. Because Iruka's like a brother, and you too.
Well, I don't know why you're assuming that's the only change I would make. Yeah, Sasuke would change out, or stand out, which is why I would change Sasuke as well.
What would you change Sasuke to? You're just
I don't know, whatever I did.
My twin. I don't know.
My best friend. I don't know, whatever I changed it to.
You love her?
That's done. My special bond.
Well, anyway, back to the question. If Iruka's in Hinata's place here, where would you move the love confession to? You have to do it in this case.
It's a hard question. I feel like you almost have to make up a new moment because it doesn't really fit in very well anywhere.
I guess, let's see, when me and my friends talk about, the whole addressing confession thing, arguably beginning of the Kage Summer, but Naruto just rejects her and says that he's actually pursuing a relationship with someone else, which arguably would be Sakura. But yeah, that's normally what I would probably do or something. You could argue that I'm.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You argue that I'm a bit. You could say I am more favouring of the Sakura than Hina relationship.
That's
yeah.
fair. Same. Yeah. Again, not that I hate either, but I just prefer one over the other. I love both, but that being said, Kamui, this doesn't answer your question, but just two more things to support the fact it should have been Iruka instead of Naruto. Not only the fact that Kakashi saves Iruka, so that's like set up for like Iruka's thing later on when Iruka does.
As I said earlier, it gives a reason for that scene.
Yeah, well, I wasn't done. That wasn't my point. That was one
Part
thing
of
leading
me
to the second.
wonders if that was maybe. You know, part of me wonders if that maybe in the original plan, but the editor said no, do Hinata or something.
Oh, that's interesting. That could be the case, yeah. Since there's a new editor after the fact, maybe that's why Kishimoto fired him. But the second point, which is the point that I was getting at, it's not just that. It's also the fact that who's the one that gave Naruto the popsicle when Naruto was crying at that one night?
Mm-hmm.
It was Iruka. Yeah. It's around the middle of the arc too. So yeah, it wasn't Hinata. You're just throwing Hinata in there randomly in comparison. Yeah, Iruka already had so much set up to be this person in this arc, especially with the popsicle scene, but also like we were saying with the Kakashi saving him scene. Yeah, definitely would have worked really well, the way it currently is. So okay. If I was gonna put it somewhere in Naruto Part 1, or sorry, just in Naruto in general, the only other place it would realistically work would be after the Hinata versus Neji fight, but before Naruto fights Neji.
Like when they're outside, and Naruto says, "I like people like you."
Yes, either there, or you might like this less, but at least it'd be more impactful of a moment, even if it changes the moment. It would be when Hinata's passing out after the Neji fight, and she's like, "Did I change?" In this case, it would just be a confession.
Yeah. The only other place would be War Arc, unless you're just inventing new arc where they're like gonna have a tough antagonist, like they're fighting Data or something like.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, War
Honestly, I
Arc
think
in and of
Hinata
itself
would-
could work. Like if Obito's kind of beating down Naruto and Hinata just has a similar moment, but she just doesn't die. Maybe Neji. Okay, hypothetical situation. Okay, I am just spitballing here. I'm gonna create a situation similar to the Pain one, but slightly different. Hypothetically, all that Obito's doing his shit, and he's kind of like got Naruto cornered and blah blah blah. So Hinata jumps in, and Hinata's trying to fight and blah blah blah. Obito's being like, why would you fight for this hellish world? In worlds like this, your lovers die, just like blah blah blah. He's saying all this shit. And then Naruto's just like, Hinata, why are you doing this? All the same shit. Hinata confesses. And then Obito he's gonna eventually, Hinata's fighting, Obito goes for the kill, and that's when Neji steps in and dies. So you just change Neji's death, in this case, to be saving. The problem is then this takes away from Neji protecting Naruto, unless you make it so that, like, Obito goes for a mutual kill on Naruto and Hinata. I don't know. You get the premise.
God. No. Kamui, I think we're the only people in the world who actually like Neji's death. In fact, I love Neji's death. It's freaking good, bro.
Yeah, most people don't like it.
I will say, again, going back to the Hot Boy drama fest that happened of what the narrative of the war part 2 is, it's not about love, so it doesn't really work for this to be a Hinata thing anyways, regardless if it's in this rewrite or not. It just, the way it currently is, it's not about love anyways, it's about hope and optimism, because this is the depression arc, the tragedy arc.
And then,
the arc where they play the Kokuten theme, the awfulness. Yeah. The giving up arc.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not
the
gonna
love
lie.
Arc.
The only two times it really, really works would be obviously the Pain arc, the Chunin exams, and third place is the War arc, but I feel like Hinata's moment there worked as is. It's weird to just put in, it takes away if she starts just saying, oh, I love you, by the way.
Yeah. The only place where it could arguably work, as weird as it is, and this is weird, would be if she just went on the Search for Tsunade arc for some reason, because then you can just somehow parallel Naruto to Dawn or something, or Nawaki or Tsunade or something. It's just the fact that Hinata loves Naruto, Naruto dies in the arc, and like, I don't know, it's something there. It's kind of can work with Tsunade, maybe. I don't know. Just throwing something in there at that point.
Hinata shouldn't be there though. So
Yeah.
I honestly think in this rewrite case, you would either remove the confession or just have her like whisper it as she's passing out, like in the tuning exams case, and then that's just it.
Yeah.
Naruto,
By the way,
especially at that point, Naruto is such a goofball that going over his head is a lot more understandable than the pain arc. Naruto, like it's Naruto, you understood. Like, I'm sorry, you understood. Back then, though, Naruto's so stupid at times that it's a lot more understandable.
Yeah, well, he's stupid, like, on the surface, but again, like, deep down, he has very high emotional understanding, so I think he would at least understand. By the way, Kamui, I am going to, just for the visuals of the stream, if you want to show it, I'm going to be showing a Christmas concert light fest show near me. I'm going to have to mute, like, when I'm not talking because of the obvious, like, copyright or whatever, but for the most part, I'll be showing it the whole time, which will be cool, at least, so yeah, it's something we can do.
Should we add free game in the audience?
Go on, because I have long since passed the point where I needed to head off.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I have long since, because I was planning to leave about an hour ago, but
yeah, I know. What time is it for you? 3 a.m.
It's like
sorry about
3:20. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Well,
any final thoughts on anything?
Yeah.
Okay, with all the things we've talked, basically, I still think Sakura is at least the heart of like Team 7 for at least part 1. Naruto becomes it in like part 2. He's like the glue that keeps together. So I think you could argue Sakura is the heart in terms of some of the more emotional moments in the story. But let's see, Sasu still for me remains arguably the worst pairing and the one that should never happen in this series.
Okay, but what about Choji and Karu?
that one is also terrible.
That's literally just a meme at that point.
Yeah, it's like let's see. I feel like the only reason Kishimoto did that one is because you had that one little joke about between Karen and Omi about possibly finding a girl or boyfriend in the Hidden Leaf Village. I feel like that is literally the only reason. Even though, and frankly, that was just completely stupid. If you were gonna do that sort of romance, you should have had Kari and Choji interact in the war at some point. But no. That was just dumb. I would have just preferred Choji with a random girl. Heck, you don't even know both technically, unless you count the anime. You don't really know the significant other parents of like most of the main cast. You only like see Kiba's mother. You only see Inashikacho's dads. That's all you like. You don't need to show like every parent. Heck, you don't even know who Metal Lee's mother is. Some think it's 1010, some don't think it's 1010. But yeah, stuff like that. And
yeah.
Iruka better for Hinata, and you could easily just, instead of having Hinata focusing on a romance with Naruto, you could have done some stuff with the Hyugas. That would have just made it more impactful.
You know, another actual argument for Hinata not confessing is, like, obviously, and this kind of sounds stupid at first, but hear me out. So, like, obviously, Hinata likes Naruto for, like, who he is, not because of what he said to Hinata or whatnot, not because he confessed to Hinata. Similarly, Hinata could just, like, Naruto could just like Hinata, not because she confessed at any point, but because Hinata in the war arc basically does the same thing Naruto did for her. She convinces him not to give up, essentially. And that could be the reason he falls. And so again, going into Naruto last, Naruto can just be the first person to say the words, I love you. And it could be because of what Hinata did in that case.
I mean, yeah, I completely agree. I think that completely works as is. So definitely W rewrite there.
And then, like,
On
obviously, the only
Choji
rewrite for the
thing,
pain arc at that point is just obviously Hinata would go down if she could. Just have her fight a pain and lose, or crushed by almighty push. I prefer that you have like a quick scene. Maybe she fights Conan 1v1 and loses. I don't care. Like, have Conan do something. Or she can fight the Diva Path momentarily earlier. It doesn't really matter. The point is just have her fight and lose. And now you know she's knocked out. That's why she's not helping.
Arguably, yes, I would have preferred her knocked out in the whole Uruka stuff, but yeah. Anyway, let's see, but yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna head off now because I need to. It was fun talking to you both, even if there were definitely some questions you drove me crazy with.
No, I get that.
But yeah, bye everyone.
See ya.
Okay. But now I will say on the Choji thing, I do think not only is the Choji Karui ship a joke, regardless if it's a reference to the pain arc thing or not. I think it's just a joke in general. But I also think to an extent, even if he has serious moments, I think both Choji, like Konohamaru, is a joke character. And then I also think that Chocho was a joke character, and he wasn't continuing to do Naruto after Naruto Gaiden, in my opinion, anyway. So I feel like that's why that happened. It's not only for the pairing, it's more for the Chocho character in Naruto Gaiden.
Yeah, so that Chocho could be the way she is.
Yeah.
Which I like Chocho in Naruto Gaiden. That's actually my favorite Chocho, bro. No, I don't know if it's my favorite,
bro,
but it's one of them.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Where
being
she's
said,
actually, like,
pregame!
Doesn't seem like he's too free. Not in this game.
Oh no.
Hey, well,
there he
he
is.
might not even be a game at this point.
Yeah.
My bad.
There he is.
What's up, my guy?
We're gonna have to start calling him Busy Serious from now on.
Unfree game.
I do be busy.
Locked game.
Let me know if I'm back.
Anyways, what's up, free game? Okay, so Kamui, so just let this play out.
Wait.
Yeah,
hey,
go ahead. What's up?
Can you let me know if I'm echoing?
Hey, yeah.
Just for you guys. So it's no like fucked up noise on your pod.
Sounds fine to me.
Okay, cool. So what's up, guys? What's going on? What's the topic?
Hey, what's up? Okay, so
Kamui.
Well, no, hold on. Just for the sake of this, Kamui, let me just ask this the way I'm going to ask it. You can do whatever after the fact. Just let me do this the way this is right now. So, free game. Would you say, like, Sakura is the heart of Team 7? Like, would that be an okay thing to say? What do you think?
Sakura?
In like Naruto, like part 1, would you say like it's okay to say that Sakura is like the heart of Team 7, or is that like weird to you?
I mean, can you give me a little context? How is she the heart of Team 7?
Well, I understand like it's probably not a thing that you've thought of before. Like I hadn't thought of it until the other day either. But just like in general, like if you just like saw, let's just say like you were watching like a Naruto explained video or something, or a Swag Kage video, or you like reading a journalist article or something from like a NewsWeb or one of the other ones. I don't know the names of them, but anime analyst, whatever the names are. If they just had a part of the video or article where they mentioned the fact that Sakura is the heart of Team 7, would you like stop to like double take or whatever? Like you're like, what?
Sarada, right? Not Sakura?
Sakura. No,
Sakura.
Sakura from Naruto. Yeah, Sakura from Naruto. What do you think about that?
I don't see it because we don't have too much interaction between Sarada and Team 7. It's mostly with the daughter. So I don't think I just to make a long story short, I don't think she's the heart of Team 7. Because what has she contributed for you to come to that assumption?
Oodie?
Bro, are you selling Christmas trees, bro? Are you gonna answer my question? I don't
Oodie?
care about the light show in the back of your fucking camera, bro. What is going on?
Can you hear?
Sorry, it's got music. Sorry, I'm just trying to like avoid the guy, right? Yeah. So, yeah, Sarada is definitely, I think, an interesting pick from the Boruto series to be the heart of Team 7. So Kamui, what do you think about that for Sarada to be the heart of Team 7 in the Boruto era? I'm curious, Kamui, what do you think about that?
Well, real quick, before discussing
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
I like how you just completely dodged the fact that he said no.
Uh-huh. Okay. Sure.
You just weren't gonna
That's where you're going
argue
with
back
that.
at all. You just took it. Really?
Well, Kamui, if you are observant a little bit, you'll probably realize something. But
Oh, I did.
I
I
can
did.
understand why you are, because you're.
I did.
Oh,
Well,
you did?
maybe,
Okay.
But I'm just
maybe
not
did?
mentioning it.
maybe she's
Okay.
because
Okay. Well, no. Well, okay. Well, then that's the point, obviously, because you already know I'm not mentioning it. So yeah. So okay, we can move on.
maybe she is because like she's not the only one. She's the only one who suffer omnipotence, who is not acceptable to omnipotence, and you know I look at her
Yeah.
like picking up the Kakashi role. So.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Yeah, it's just definitely interesting. I would say in the Boruto era, honestly, as opposed to Naruto's era, I would say you have a lot more of an argument to say there is not really a heart of Team 7, in my opinion. Not as much so as Naruto. Anyways, I think Naruto's heart of Team 7, like Team 7's heart was stronger in Naruto's era than it was in Boruto's era. In fact, I feel like that's almost part of the point, considering it was like an era of desperation, of war and conflict and stuff, as opposed to the Boruto era, where he's referring to it as like not a lame era or anything, and they're like not, they don't have to be ninjas, etc. To where Sakura is sort of forced into the role to an extent. Same with Hinata, that's the more clear example. But yeah, I think definitely the conviction isn't as strong, even if the heart of a shinobi is still there. There's obviously clear differences between Boruto's era and Naruto's era in general, which would reflect on the teams as well. You could argue on the opposite end, you could argue that individually, Boruto, Sarada, and Mitsuki have more heart than Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. But I think when you look at the old Team 7 versus the new Team 7, I think the old Team 7 had more heart than the new Team 7.
I mean,
Why you
I
say
agree.
that?
That said, I think Sarada, if you had to pick someone as the heart of Team 7, I probably would pick Sarada for the Boruto area. Because, I mean, like, Boruto just left willy-nilly and he's just like, whatever. Like, I'll just be hated by everyone. Kawaki obviously is not it. Mitsuki's, well... Yeah, he was trying to kill Boruto / Kawaki, and now he's just kind of doing whatever. Sarada's the only one who's actively trying to bring him back.
What about
To be fair,
Konohamaru ain't done shit, bro, but tell
yeah,
Sarada to
Konohamaru.
stop. He just gave up.
So what?
Well, Konohamaru is from the old era, so you could argue something there. That he's even carrying those ties from the past into the current age, to where maybe Konohamaru's the reason why the new Team 7 can have heart in the first place at all.
Do you
Bro,
think? Do you
just
guys
Konohamaru
think we
ain't
had a
done shit to keep this team together.